Sports Talk Live here on this Tuesday evening, January 21st, 2025. What's up, everyone? Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic evening tonight. This is going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting.
It was an interesting day already, Eric. Did you see what broke this afternoon? Well, you wouldn't have had an interest in it. My phone lit up this afternoon. Everyone was talking about, or maybe you won't, but maybe the guys in the chat will. Last week or so, about a week ago, I was heading over to play some oldies on oldies96.com. I'll be there right after the show or whenever I have to depart. I have to get over there to do the show. Do you remember me talking about a song called The Cheater by Bob Kuban and the In-Men?
No, don't remember.
And I told you there was a murder. His song is called The Cheater. Anyway, so the lead singer, that was all, the history of that song. He died today. And I was just talking about it on the show in passing a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Spooky.
Hey, now. Watch out.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
And what was his name? Are you familiar with the group The Band?
The Band. No.
Do you know The Band?
No. Don't know The Band.
Oh, Garth Hudson of The Band died today. He was 87. I know you know The Band.
If I heard a song, I might know it.
Eric knows music quite as on the level as I do, but all right, you would know. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. You don't know?
No, don't know that one.
What about take a load off Fanny? Take a load for free. You put the load right on me.
Maybe.
Oh, but wait. I rode into Nazareth.
Ace, what's this? Rag Mama Rag. You know.
There you go. That's the band.
Ace knows it. Ace, there he is. Way to
go. Garth Hudson died today. So musically, and the guitarist for Thin Lizzy died today.
Holy crap. I know
the boys are back in town. The boys are back. Well, the boys are back in town. We're going to talk about what it is to be a fan. And perhaps we'll get into the term fanatic tonight at some point.
Did you say term of fanatic? Do we have to start this off right off the rip with a freaking dictionary? Yeah, we're going to have to.
There you go.
Here we go. Guys, first and foremost, this information we're about to explain in detail is not peer-reviewed. There is no scientific measure in understanding what it is to be a fan. This is all subjective. Everyone has their own interpretation. There's no right or wrong answer, I guess you could say. Well, I guess there can be something wrong, but we'll get into this. Anyways, let's get into it right off the bat. What is a fanatic? A person with an extreme and uncritical enthusiasm or zeal, as in religion or politics. Synonyms: militant, hothead. I don't know about the bigot, but a zealot and an enthusiast. All right. So
and also, I did a search for that topic today, Eric.
Go for it.
And a word that came up in the conversation, the definition, it is an ardent devotee, an enthusiast. But, however, the fanatical side, there's a distinction. It apparently rests on someone who is unreasoning. If you're a fanatic, you're unreasonable. And look, you're all in at all times.
And here's the thing. It says an extreme and uncritical enthusiasm. And again, that could go both ways, right? You could go, you're too uncritical in the negative, or you could be too uncritical into the positive, right? That's kind of where you can go. Now, in the description, I say, is there standards? Is there standards to be a fan, or is it just, hey, you're a fan? There should there be criteria if you want to be a fan of a certain team? That's what I'm trying to get at. And
I'm going to change my hat.
That being said, because I see a lot of this. I saw this when I was on Northern California Sports and Entertainment with Dan, seen it here on Giant Sports Talk Live, and I've seen it elsewhere in other channels and even on the radio, you name it.
Logan.
What's up?
Nice. Oh, Logan bringing in, I was doing my fun facts and trivia last night.
Oh, gotcha.
Trivia Tuesday. And Logan, you proved to me. If you're coming in with that, I know that you were listening. Good stuff.
Okay, here we go. So there's been, I've seen charges leveled against people. Oh, well, you're not a fan. So what does that mean when someone levels those statements against somebody? You're not a fan. What does that mean? Let's dissect that. What is that? I really don't understand what it means. And again, I kind of put this in the description. Is a fan someone who wholeheartedly believes everything that the team is doing and they could do no wrong? Whatever decision they make, whatever direction that they go, that is the way that you got to stand behind it 100%. And vice versa. Are you a person that constantly see always the negative? Always see the negative. You know, sometimes there is, you know, on this channel here on Giant Sports Talk Live, we never talk about.
I ain't as good as I once was, but I was good as I ever was. Man, you know I can't.
5 times.
Well,
And they got to be full.
oh shit. Hell no, get this shit.
As I was saying, we're never negative on this. But anyways, it's just, hey, I'm trying to make a light in the mood here. But I mean, look, you got to be somewhere in the middle, right? I mean, again, being a fan, usually that just doesn't happen, especially hey, the human race. If we were all down the middle, you know, we want to see some of the things that are going on in the world today. That's a subject for another day. But I mean, I don't understand that where people just like to, and again, whether you're a homer or whether you are a freaking absolute firebomber against the team, you know what? I mean, you're still a fan. Glenn, you're very critical of the San Francisco Giants, right? I've been critical of
I'm a big fan, but I wouldn't call myself a homer. I like to call it, there's guys who see, even among the fandom, there are guys who accept that. I call a spade a spade. Some poo-poo on it. Others are like, hey, I agree with Glenn. Sometimes you say stuff and guys come in the chat. As always, I agree with Glenn. So I think they, you know what? They get on another good word that I can think of when it comes to a fan or a fandom?
Let's hear it.
Bandwagon.
There's a lot of that.
You jump on and you're in no matter what, right?
There's people, yeah. If they're doing well, they'll jump on, quote unquote.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I call a fair weather fan.
That's fair. Okay. Hey,
fair weather fan.
Now I get that, and that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, there's a lot of times where people will go out there. Well, I know more than you as far. I don't know. Not necessarily know more, but it's almost like I believe in the team so much that what my word holds more weight than somebody else, right? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, just because, for example, let's use an example. Justin Verlander, right? Giants signed 42-year-old Justin Verlander.
Not a fan.
There's some people out there that absolutely love it, and there's some people out there that can't stand it. Okay. Now, even though you're diametrically opposed to Justin Verlander, is one person more a fan than another? That's what I'm trying to say. No, I don't think it does. If someone is saying, oh, man, I don't like Verlander, the person who supports him can't come back and say, you know what? You're not a fan. Or the other way around. A person who is ardent against Verlander can't turn around to the homer, so to speak, and say, you're not a fan, right? You see what I'm trying? You see, guys, what I'm trying to get at here? And again, it's I think what the issue is, right, Glenn? It's the emotion. You could almost, to a certain extent, depending how into your team that you are, it could be right up there with politics and religion, right?
I'll do a 180 though, Eric. You don't necessarily have to be a fan of the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Padres. Some in here, not the Blue Jays, or the Yankees, or the Mets. But Eric, while we're Giants fans, we are also collectively baseball fans.
Yes. There you go.
What does that mean? We love the game. I can watch. When I was living on the East Coast, Eric, late night. God, you know what it's like. I'm going over to do the oldies show at midnight. So I'm used to hey, 11 o'clock, the game's coming on, Eric. Not like the West Coast, of course, when the game starts at 4 in the afternoon. So I get to watch a lot of Dodgers, Mariners, Angels, their home games on the MLB package. I can watch a game. Doesn't have to be the Giants. I cheer for the Giants, but I love baseball.
That's fine. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. I'm going to get into this. I threw the link out there for those who want to talk about this because this is, it involves everybody here. It's not just you and I. It's also the chat because there are just as many fans as there. Dan, if you want to hit that link, you can hit it too, man. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I just don't like it to where people try to hold that over you as far as the whole fandom is concerned.
There you go, Dan.
Yeah, I like what he's saying.
Hell no. I meet him at the door and I go, what are your intentions with my daughter? Right, Caitlin?
Right. Well, there you go.
I've done it before. And usually I say, I don't mind going back to jail.
Going back.
That scares them.
But this gets a little bit weird because again, I'm going to talk about this, the emotion. And I was kind of alluding to political talk and religion because if people are true, there's a lot of diehard fans out there, man. Diehard fans. And it could be, look, we're using San Francisco Giants, but it could be for any fan because I know we got a lot of Dodger fans in here and Yankee fans, Dodger fan or Padre fans, Mets fans, Toronto Blue Jays fans. You get so worked up about your team.
Like Greg.
It's emotional, man. Really, it does. It's almost like it's a personal affront if you're criticizing the team that they absolutely live and die for.
I used to be like that, Eric. The older I got,
that's fair.
There's other things in life. If Bernice says, I want to go out to dinner and the ball game's on, well, I go out to dinner. The ball game isn't my be all and end all in life, man. And I've never seen the players when I'm having a bad day, an emotional day, as your buddy Chardal would say, Eric, I know you're having a bad day, so I'll sing you a song. When you're having a bad day,
yeah,
your wife will call you.
Yeah.
Matt Chapman doesn't give you a call. Adamas doesn't give you a call. They lose a game. That's another thing about being a fanatic, Eric. The team loses a game, dramatic game, and I see them across the street at the bar or having dinner and joking around and laughing. Meanwhile, I see fans that are like going bananas.
Mm-hmm.
That's being a fanatic too.
That's fair. And here's another thing, Mark. You bring up another fantastic point, and I'll tell you what it is. I see this from a lot of people. Should the amount of time that you have root for a specific team have any consideration on whether you're a fan or not a fan? Does it hold more weight? Look, I understand you may have more history of what the team has done because of longevity. Hey, this ties in to Hall of Fame. This ties into Hall of Fame talk, guys, and we'll get into that later. Yeah. Because if you take out the time consideration, is anyone that much more of a fan than another? Look, are you that much more of a fan just by the nature of the year that you were born?
Well, we should do a scale later, Eric. What defines that level of intensity, right? So hell of this, hell of that. Says.
Okay, where's he up?
Says, I can't stand fans who don't know their team's roster. I've met people, they're wearing a Giants hat, and they go, oh, I love the Giants. Oh, who's your favorite player? Oh, I'm all of them.
Yeah. Dude, yes. And you could say that falls under the category of what you said earlier, Glenn. Bandwagon, fair weather fan. That's
a fair weather
100%. Exactly.
I love those Giants. I go, hey, you're the dude who lives in my building. How many games do you go to? Oh, I don't go to any games. Okay, so you don't go to any games. You watch them on TV? Oh, once in a while. But I'm a big fan. Well,
yeah. Right. Hey,
I mean, I can't wrap my
Toby,
noggin around that one.
Toby, I know you came in first, but now I'm bringing in Dan first. And look at that. Look at what he's wearing.
Oh, he's wearing the Rodney. He's wearing the Rodney.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on, Eric, before you bring him in.
Yeah.
Before you bring him in, and I know he'll appreciate this.
Oh, I know where he's going. Oh, cool.
And
Cool.
now,
you were
another
going
special
Schweighal,
guest appearance on Giant Sports Talk Live.
Ah,
Yeah, there he goes.
what's up? Uh-oh.
Does that
That's
mean
cool.
we got two shows going on at once? I'm not sure what's going on. Why do I
Oh,
got it?
yeah. Which one did you join? Did you join the NorCal or the Giant Sports Talk?
Maybe
You know, while
I'm
you're in here.
listening to. Oh, you know what?
It doesn't matter either way, but he's
Hold on,
here.
let me try this. I might lose you, and I'll have to come back if I hit
That's
the wrong
fine.
button.
That's fine.
All right, amateur hour. We'll be
hit
back.
the
Okay. Let's bring in Toby. Hey, Toby.
Hey boys, it's been a minute. How's everyone doing?
How you
Good.
doing?
All right. I think he's ready to go. All right. I think you're ready to go now, Dan.
Okay, Toby.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you in a
So-
second, Toby. We got Dilly, we got Toby, we got all kinds of people waiting. Dan, what's up?
Oh yeah, I thought I would just check in. I won't stay long. I've said this many times. You saw my comments. I've been,
Yeah.
I get critical of the Giants. It's because I'm very passionate about them, and I'm
Yes.
tired of watching mediocrity. I know that they have the money to spend, and I want them to be better.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no reason that a team that finishes 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th in revenue, but cannot spend more money. I mean, the Dodgers are putting 67% of their money toward payroll. I don't expect the Giants to have the same payroll, but percentage-wise, they should be putting more toward payroll. Steve Cohen
Yes.
put 102% toward payroll. Look, these guys aren't making their wealth is not coming from the team itself, what they do on an annual basis. It's the
Right.
it's Joe Lacob of the Warriors, for example, spent tons of money, over $200 million in luxury tax, but the valuation of the team went up like $2 billion last year.
Right.
So it's the valuation, and they have so much money coming in the future that I just want to see them spend it. So I get critical because I think, what are you in it for? What are you in this business for? Are you in the business to, is it really a real estate company and you're just making money each year? Or you have an obligation to the fans? We're the ones, if you're not the fans, just go freaking play out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and who cares? I mean, nobody,
Yes.
but you got a metropolitan area around you that supports you. And, you have the whole Bay Area. People are wearing jerseys, hats all over, I mean, not as much as they are years ago. I remember coming up to the Bay Area a lot in 2017, and all I saw was Giants hats all over Concord,
All over,
Walnut Creek,
yeah.
Martinez, wherever I went, Giants hats. Today, not nearly as many. They've lost a lot of fans because of their unwillingness to be entertaining. So I say this, when I say, people say, well, you're not a real fan, you're too critical. Well, look, sometimes, you ever heard the word tough love?
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
they say if you got a cheating spouse and you take them back and then they just keep cheating on you and you go, oh, it's okay, come on back. No,
Right.
It's called tough love. You say, do it again, you're out,
Right.
You keep bringing it back, you're an idiot.
Exactly.
Jesus.
So that's why I said early on in the
Holy
first, before you
smokes.
guys started the show, I said, as a Giants fan, you got to have a little bit of brain damage. We all got brain damage because we keep subjecting ourselves to the same old crap, but we keep coming back and we take it. Part of being a fan is the ups and downs. It's
Correct.
cyclical. It's also having a realistic approach that you're not always going to win, even if you are spending money. Look, the 49ers, 4 out of 5 years, NFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls, they still didn't get it done. And a lot of people look at that and say they were they didn't get it done, but there's only one winner.
Right.
What I want to see is I want to see them win, but if they don't win, I at least want to see them
trying their best
shot. Yes.
Giving it the best shot. Yes.
Right. And I don't think they're doing that this year.
I said to Eric a couple of weeks ago, it's not so much about winning anymore for me. I just enjoy the game, and it's about making memories. And I said to Eric, I can only remember 2 or 3. Really? Each year, at the end of the year, I can look back and go, holy crap. Remember that night we were down by 5 and we scored 6 in the bottom of the 9th? Last year, I could only remember once or twice. The Friday night game against Detroit, we came back.
Walk.
Wilmer's walk-off. That was Wilmer's walk-off.
Walk.
I think Bailey had a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. That's all I can remember. What else did we do? There were no memories last year. There was no excitement. Well, Dan, at my age, I said to Eric and the boys, they don't like it. And this is also about being a fanatic. It's all about winning. I would rather go to the ballpark, Dan, and see a game that I'll talk about for the rest of my life. One
Absolutely.
For the ages. And we lose. They go and win 3-2 on 3 hits and go home and go, well, we won. Yeah, but that was boring.
Yeah, no, it's all as you get older, Glenn, as you realize, and Eric, you're still passionate, but you start to appreciate more, like you said, the game itself as a, and I experienced part of this. A lot of people who are not on the really what I would say the inside, and I'll say this because I was fortunate to get credentials 1 year. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I got a chance to see the inside of what was happening. And to be honest with you, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with the way the Giants, they treated me like I was some kind of, the guy followed me around everywhere I went looking, had access to at that time they had a clubhouse upstairs in Scottsdale and downstairs for the rookies and the guys that were non-rostered. And I would be, guy would follow me all around, but not Slusser, Pavlovic, and the guy from the Athletic, I'm forgetting his name. Baggerly. Yeah, all those guys, they had free access. And I understand I was new, but, I was there every day for 30 freaking days. You'd think after, the players liked me and everything was fine, but they just they were just, and then, the players were really cool, but I thought the management, I just saw a different side to them. And I thought Kapler was kind of a jerk. I mean, one time I asked a question.
I remember it.
Kapler and they had Peter Gammons was there that day, and Susan Slusser comes out and says, something about Peter Gammon, and I didn't even know it was Peter Gammons because he had a stroke, and he had a hat on, and it didn't sound like him. He had a little bit of when he first talked. So I said something, and she comments about we got talk here, and we got Peter Gammons here today, and we got some question basically from some rookie, and then Kapler goes, Kapler's there, and all these reporters, it's okay, we all felt it, and I'm like, it's just what? Yeah, and they did the same thing Kapler did the same thing to Kruger when he asked a question, and it was just tried to tear Larry down, and I'm just like, because we're not regulars, we're not there, we're not the beat writers and stuff. So I just said, you know what, you guys have a organization that you don't treat people with the same respect that, like Marty Lurie, great. Marty
Lurie's awesome, man.
Awesome.
What goes around comes around, though, Dan. Yeah. Eric, can you imagine me in that situation? What are the first 2 words out of my mouth?
Oh, God, Glenn. You don't. No. But no, the same thing. Ned Colletti. Right? Ned Colletti's a great guy. The guy was he did it at the highest level. And he treats you and he treated me just like a normal guy. He didn't look down on us.
Yeah, these beat writers, man, I would go up into the press box and they would just turn their shoulder to me, and they wouldn't. And another guy that Jim on base. That's yeah. We were like, oh, hey, you can't talk to these guys. They're down here. We're up here, and these are the sports writers that are, getting Hall of Fame ballot votes, these guys. And I just thought, you know what? You could be cool. I was trying to be nice to them and ask them questions, and, they just, but so
it's all about who they are, though. It's all about who they are and their attitude toward people. It's if you walk into a room, Dan, you and I go out to the bar on a Friday night, and I mean, no girls are looking at me. And Dan goes to the other. I go to the bathroom, and Dan says, "You don't know who that is? That guy there. He owns the San Antonio Spurs, man." Hey, the women talk to me then, Dan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to do that all the time with guys on the hockey team. I go, you know who that is? That's Dan Cochimilio.
Oh, there's Hope Springs Eternal.
Hope
Springs Eternal. She says
it's all about who you are, Dan.
I call Dodger Dan because he's always posting positive things to say about the Dodgers. What can I say negative?
Well, what can you
say negative?
I mean, you could sit there. I'm pissed off. Look, and Dan's pissed off. I could guarantee you Dan would be pissed off. But he's acknowledging, hey, look what they're doing, because whatever they're doing is right. They just signed another guy today, Kirby Yates.
I did a little video the other day. I said, look, I can't stand the Dodgers, but I respect them. I wish my owners' teams would do what they're doing. And you know what? The bottom line is 90% of the owners in baseball could be spending $200 million a year.
Yes.
No doubt. No doubt. When we look at the revenues. So when people get on me about being critical of the Giants, I just say this to them. Look, if you have a daughter and she's got some guy she brings home that you could tell is going to destroy her life, and because, you've been around, you know what you did as a 20-year-old, right? Or whatever, and you can judge character, and you say, do you just go, oh, go ahead, honey, great guy, when deep down he's going to tear her life up?
Yep.
And you say to them, I mean, you don't say, oh, good, honey, go. I think it's great. And you don't even say anything. No, it's the same thing with the Giants. When things aren't good, you don't go, yeah, everything's great, guys. I just think we're going to be a 96 win team without a doubt. We've got all the tools. Everything's going to be great. So you point out you're real. Look, being a fan, to me, the definition you read at the beginning, is kind of like having your blinders on. That was me as a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 16, 18-year-old, all Giants, every year they're going to hope springs eternal, right?
Right.
First, spring, the grass is cut. The Giants are playing spring ball. They're going to win it all this year.
Yeah.
And they were, but as you get older, you get wiser, you see things, you learn, you see patterns. And that's why I say I see a pattern this year of, am I going to root for him? Yeah. Did I root against him at times when Farhan was here? Yeah, because I wanted him gone, because I knew the only hope to go forward was to get him out of the building.
Correct.
Because they were never going to win with him. Now you've got Buster, and you can start hoping and looking and hoping they start winning again, but it's going to take a while. And Fan is a guy who is committed, but is not completely 100% blind to the fact that, hey, this team, they can do no wrong.
Right. All right. Hey, let's bring in Dilly and Toby. I want to see what they have to say, because they're fans as well. Dilly, Toby, what's up, man? Toby, let's start with you, since you were in here. Talk to me, man, or talk to us. What you got?
So I think the worst part about it for Giants fans is seeing the Dodgers do this. I think if any other team did this, we wouldn't give two shits about it. I really think, to be honest, like, let's say it's like the Chicago Cubs. I don't think we would care. They don't bother us. We don't think about the Cubs, but the Dodgers, someone we've had to deal with since we've moved from New York. They
it's been
moved
going on
from New
even
York.
in New York. Even in New York, man.
Yes, even in New York, like it's been that long. The rivalry's been that long. There's
Yes.
generations who still hate Dodgers, even in New York, and they're giant New York Giants fans. So I think if it were any other team, we would hate it. But the other thing is, we see the Niners spending money. We see the Warriors spending money. So teams in town committed to winning, and it feels like we're not as committed to winning, and that I think that hurts us the most because I think we are spoiled. We're spoiled fans. We've had a lot of championships over the years.
True.
We've been able to compete for championships, whether it's baseball, football, basketball. So I think it feels like, are we committed to winning, or are we just kind of committed to like making money off of the nice stadium that we have right now?
Exactly. Real quick, I'm going to ask you, Glenn and Dan, before we get to Dilly. Have you ever seen a team like the Dodgers, what they're doing in this offseason? I've never seen anything like this.
Alabama football.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Where they paid people under the table before the NIL came around.
Gotcha. I mean, Glenn, have you ever seen a team doing this? I mean, this is just.
I've seen it. Maybe not to this degree.
Right.
I mean, they're taking it to the penthouse, man. But when I was, I guess more so when I played hockey. So when I was in the Montreal organization, I ended up working for the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm.
Dude.
Is that a big rivalry?
Dude. And the New York Islanders, who I never had any involvement in, but the Islanders as well. You know, every sport does this. You look at a team. Dan, you follow the Warriors more than I do. I'm the WNBA guy. You're the NBA guy. Wasn't it about, 8-10 years ago? The Warriors only lost. What did they play? Like
9 games.
Yeah, they lost 9 games, Eric. So, I mean,
Yeah.
There are certain years, certain period, but certain decades, this is going beyond. I said to Dan, I said to Eric, they'll laugh at me. And in a way, I'm just kind of, getting the talk going. I said this team could win 130 games.
And I said you're full of shit. You know what?
They're over under,
dude.
Their over under is about 104, 108 or something like that. I think they're going over
103.5.
Oh, easy bet. They're going over that. And now they picked up Kirby Yates. Eric, they got multiple closers. They got enough pitchers to field 2 teams. So I say I've never seen anything quite like this before.
I've never seen it. Never. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I did.
And that's what makes it that much more frustrating.
And the fact that they go out and get the best. This isn't they don't just make acquisitions. They target the best.
Yep.
Big difference.
Oh, all right, let's get to Dilly. Dilly.
Like when I traded Dan in fantasy, I traded him my best. He didn't tell you. He didn't tell you though. We split the prize, first place.
Oh no!
That's it.
Oh no!
Oh, look at Dilly. He was in there.
Oh Lord!
I'm only kidding. You know what? I'm kidding, but they'll take it and run with it now. Jesus!
Oh goodness gracious! I can't wait for this absolute debauchery to happen again.
What's up, Dilly?
Debauchery.
Oh man!
Talk to me, Dilly.
I
Senior,
think
I knew it.
Audie.
That's funny. Apologies for being a little nasally. I
hear
currently
the cold.
I am sick.
I hear it. Yep.
I just got over that stuff. Yeah.
It's not fun. I'm hoping today was the last bad day. But anyways, I think your fandom definitely is like it sprouts from what era your team is in.
That's fair. That
you start acknowledging the sport. So for me, I was young. I was very young. I was 5 years old when they won their first World Series.
Yeah, but come on, Billy. You are young.
Well, I still, but
you are
5, obviously. 5 compared to 20 is different. So,
right,
but when I was 5, that was my first core memory of baseball. My dad would always watch baseball when I was little, but sitting on the couch watching my dad jump off the couch and flip out and all this stuff whenever they're winning the World Series, that's an ingrained memory. So I have that's my core foundation for this team, which I think definitely tends to
cloud.
Yeah,
Skew.
I guess you could say cloud.
Skew's better.
Skew is a good word.
That's better.
It sprouts a tree of being much more of a homer than someone who comes in later in life or at like a right now. Like kids who are watching the Giants right now or like the last couple of years are not going to have the same foundation that I have, having literally the first memories be, oh, World Series this year, we'll wait a year. World Series this year, we'll wait a year. World Series the next year, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I guess this is just what baseball's like.
So when you start seeing losing, is it kind of hard? Is it hard to?
Yeah, it's like,
grasp?
well, since your foundation is built on just being successful and winning and having these like this really fun club to watch, it's like,
yeah, you were 9, right, Dilly, with the third one?
If
14?
2010, 14, yeah, I'd be 9.
So yeah, you were 9, so you were probably just at that point really getting a better understanding of the game
what
itself.
was going on?
I mean, I would imagine at 5 it was pretty just fun.
No, it was just it was exactly. It was just a enjoyable, like exciting thing. And then about 14, I had a good idea of what was going on. 2014.
Dilly, were you a victim of circumstance though? Did you grow into baseball for some given reason? Did you see it like I did on TV, or was it because you had a parent who was into the game, like you said?
My dad always has loved baseball. He was actually a pretty good baseball player when he played, and he was a pitcher. And so when I was 5, that's when I started playing t-ball, and just like all the stars kind of aligned for me at that time when I was little, because I played t-ball when I was 5. The Giants, which is our team, won the World Series, so it was like, oh, cool. I'm like part of this whole whatever. This baseball thing's not that bad. It's cool. I didn't like watching it necessarily when I was that little because I just didn't have the attention span, and so I got older and started appreciating it more. And also playing the sport that you're watching is incredible because it's like it gives you so much more respect for what's going on the TV. And so like that made it much more palatable to be able to watch baseball games. But I'll be all cards on the table. The first season that I like watched every single game and made it an absolute point to turn on the baseball game and not miss it was 2021. I'd watched the majority of seasons before that. Like
it was a special season.
Yeah, for sure. If it was the game was on TV, I'd sit down and watch it like with dinner or whatever, night games. If it's in the afternoon, I'd probably be at school, so I wouldn't get the chance. But like I wouldn't watch every single game regardless of where I was. 2021, if the game was on, I was waking up early for it. I was going to bed late for it. It didn't matter.
Really? Yeah. I was about 10 years old when I really got into baseball. And I remember the exact week I put on my dad was a big Expos fan. So I grew up watching the Montreal Expos. There's Dan repping.
Yep.
And the game got rained out in Philadelphia. So I was kind of bummed out. My dad was bummed out. And you know what? They had to air something. It was a Saturday night. So what did they put on? And I'm telling you, dude, this got me into baseball. It wasn't a game. They aired a movie called Pride of the Yankees.
Oh, Lou Gehrig, yeah.
So that was on a Saturday.
Gary Cooper, right? Yeah.
Sunday was the last game before the All-Star break. And then on Wednesday night, I watched the All-Star game. Dan, do you remember? I think it was 1977. It was the first ever Grand Slam in an All-Star game. And it was Freddie Lynn.
Oh, off Atlee Hammaker, wasn't it?
Oh, can't remember who, but that was
Giants?
the game. That was the first game I sat down. Dude, I wish I still had it. I had the scorebook. I made my own scorebook. I was 10. I had a scorebook, and I wasn't scoring properly, but I'm like putting hit to first baseman. He's out. Oh, it was pretty cool back then.
I'm telling you, baseball.
I appreciated more too when things were I mentioned Dan the other night to Eric. When I was a kid, I didn't even have cable, but my friends all got to watch Monday Night Baseball. That was big. It was like Monday Night Football, right? So in the summer, you had Monday Night Baseball on ABC. And you had a couple of games like Wednesday night, the Expos were on. And then you got the weekend games. But now, I don't think people appreciate it as much. Because
I was just going to say the same thing, Glenn. I didn't watch. We got 18, either it was 18 or 20 games
KTVU.
growing up. KTVU, Gary Park, Channel 2. That's all we got. We got 9 games in LA. We got 9 games down in San Diego. And I think there was 1 or 2 others that they would throw in. Sometimes it would play the Houston Astros or something like that. We had to listen to the radio growing up. So you really had to be committed. If you were, I could remember going out in the summer months because I was, played football and I was a field goal kicker. So I would go out and set up my little tee that I had it's got a little thing that holds the ball, and I'd just practice kicks, but I was listening to the game. Well, the game was on. I couldn't miss a stinking game. I had to know what was going on. So I was always listening. You couldn't. And so you learn I think you learn the game really well when you can listen to it.
Yes.
We were just talking about that on our show the other night about me putting the transistor radio under my pillow. You guys sleeping in there? Oh, yeah. And I had the radio on flipping through. And at night, I don't know what it was like in the West Coast when you were, or where did you grow up? The West Coast?
Yeah. California, Bay Area. Yeah, right there.
When I grew up in a little island called Cape Breton. And for whatever reason, and I still don't know I'm in radio over 40 years. So I still can't answer this logically. At night, AM radio, I could pick up. In the day, I picked up 2 stations, but at night,
in
New York and Philly and Detroit.
You had that. Yeah, you could bring that in from the East Coast.
It. You're on the water, and I don't know how they call it the ionosphere, whatever the hell that is. But I was getting everything.
I used to have the Dodgers used to be on. I don't even know what they're on now. I don't think they're on KFI. But they were on 6, I think it was 640, something like that. I had the dial on KMBR, or no, it was back when I was a kid, it was KSFO 560. And then I would move it up a little bit to whatever they were on, 620, 640, whatever KFI, I think it was. But it would come in really good, the signal, and you'd be listening to Vince Scully, and then it would go back. Yeah, fade out. And you'd be like, oh, what happened?
We're like kindred spirits all of a sudden now, me and Dan. This is exactly what I grew up with. So but I appreciated it more, and I learned more about the game, and it's more theater of the mind when you listen to the radio.
And, before the pitch clock, if you grew up – I lived in Southern California, too, for 13 years. And I used to drive into Glendale to work, and I would be – listen, I worked nights. I worked a swing shift or graveyard, whatever, different shifts. But I was listening to the Dodger games on the way in. And I'm just telling you this with Vin Scully. Before the pitch clock, it'd be about 30 seconds on average between pitches. Okay? And you just got stories, and you learned about ball players. Vinny would tell you about their childhood, tell you all these great stories. And you just learn so much about players, the game, and you learn about situations, what's coming up. It's kind of funny. We just had the passing of Bob Uecker, and the announcer that worked with him, I think his name was Graham or something. He worked with him. I think he's the Cubs announcer now. He worked with him at Milwaukee, and he said how he learned the game from Bob Uecker. And Bob, with all the situations, Bob Uecker being a catcher, what kind of pitch might be coming in. You'd hear that from the radio announcers more than, just the TV guys. Right. So funny, Bob Uecker, he said, if I would have known that, I would have learned the game first. Or I taught it to you.
It's funny. Before Google's invented, Vin Scully was Google, right? When you wanted to listen to a game, if you wanted to know something about the game, man, he told you about it right there live on air. And
You know what I loved about Vinny is he was not a homer. He was
No.
not a homer at all. In fact, he loved his favorite team growing up was the Giants. He
Felt
watched
sorry
the
for him.
game in the 54 World Series and saw that the Giants, or I don't know if it was a 54 World Series or whatever it was, but it was right around there. They got whooped like 16-0 or something in a game. And then he said he just rooted for them. And then Willie Mays was his favorite all-time player.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so, and the Giants announcers, Lon Simmons was not a homer. They had Hank Greenwald. They had some great announcers. And so as you grow up and listen to the game, you really become a huge fan of it. And I just think that the kids today, like Billy, you got a chance to grow up and where every game's on TV. It's just, I mean, whether you want it or not, you got not just the Giants games, but if you have the Major League whatever MLB app thing or whatever, you can get every game you want to watch. You can watch every stinking game. So it's
I spawned in at a good time.
Yeah,
I like the Mariners. I like the Mariners and the Giants when I was a kid. And Dan, do you remember? I mean, you and I are the geriatric crowd in this whole bunch. So do you remember when you were a kid and my dad would come home with the newspaper after work, and I'd go to the box scores because you didn't even know who won the game the night before.
You couldn't see it. Yeah, because the reporter was too late for the printing press.
It would be 2 days later before I knew the score. Yes, the game is in Seattle, Eric. So they go to print at like 3, 4 in the morning. Get the box score the next day. Wait all day. My dad comes home. No box score.
Yeah. No, the box scores. I lived on the box scores. I used to take, and what was crazy is
I used to cut them out and take them to the scrapbook.
My dad, I'd grab the sports page, and if I was reading it, my dad said, "Give me the sports here." Just, I'm like, "Oh shoot, we only had one paper." It was like we had one TV, 3 or 4 channels.
That's
and
right.
rabbit ears.
Rabbit ears. Yep.
I mean, so
and here you are on TV. Look at this. Yeah. There you go.
So, but the box scores, I'm telling you, I loved the box scores. I just, what was great growing up is you had the box scores every day, and you had the top 10, and then you had underneath, you had the home run leaders, the RBI leaders, stolen bases, and then you'd look at that, and you'd look in this box score, and you'd see, oh, how many did Mike Schmidt get? And you look at the box, oh, dude.
You'd read the box score and feel like you just watched the game.
Yeah, the box scores were great because I didn't get to listen to every game as a kid because I did try and sneak my transistor radio in to bed a lot, but I had 2 brothers that were older, and they still to this day. I mean, they're 67 and 66, and when we get together, they still tell old stories. Hey, you remember when they had a radio in their room, and my parents would be out in the family room, and there was a door from the family room that connected to my bedroom, and they'd be like in their room, and they'd say, "Hey, Dan, hey, come in here. Giants got bases loaded. McCovey's up." So I'd come into their room, and they'd be, we're all listening quiet, and then all of a sudden they'd go, "Hey, Daddy, get out of here!" And then my dad would come in, and I'd get the belt. And they still laugh at me this day about that.
Oh my God, that's wrong, dude.
Yeah,
damn,
it's wrong. Yeah, the one brother, my brother, you helped out, Steve.
Yeah.
He's the oldest. He'd be like, he was the instigator of it all. They'd get me all comfortable, and I, my older brothers they're letting me in on it. Boom. Every time I'd fall for it.
I'll give you another one, Dan. Every Saturday afternoon in Nova Scotia. Hello again, everybody. This is Mel Allen.
Oh,
and we got I watched This Week in Baseball.
This Week in Baseball.
Twib Notes.
Twib Notes. Did you ever watch Johnny Bench and his Saturday morning?
Oh yeah,
love that show, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell was it called? And they had Mel Allen on it too, as well.
Steve's the oldest.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench was the host. Had all the kids. Oh, I can't remember the baseball bunch.
Baseball
bunch. That's right.
Loved it. The chicken was always on there. Remember the chicken? Oh, Dan. So was it your father is that where you got your love for the Giants? Was your dad?
Well, not really, because my dad played pro ball for the Stockton Ports.
That's right.
1 year, but my dad died at 31. There was an accident at work, and he died a couple days later. He got hit in the chest and had a butcher store, meat department, and the hanger, like when Rocky, when he was punching those hangers, it fell off and hit him, and he had some pain. And then later on, they determined it was just plaque that just kind of broke loose, went to his main artery, died. My mom was 26 years old, 3 children, and he died on my brother's 5th birthday.
Oh,
right after the family party, they left. I was 6 months old. So my dad was a real athlete. He had a tryout with the Oakland Raiders. He played, baseball with the Stockton Ports. But then when he passed away, I got my mom remarried like 5 years later. So my stepdad, he was kind of more quiet, but he loved sports. But it was my brothers, my 2 older brothers, that were we just all year long, we played whatever sport was in season. We were out in the season. We were out playing baseball, every day until dusk. And then we were playing basketball during basketball season, and then football during football season. My brother even played some hockey, but they didn't have ice hockey in California back in the 60s and 70s. We played roller hockey or in the gym. And my brother checked his best friend into the boards, which were the bleachers folded up, checked them, and his best friend didn't like it, turned around, gave him a punch. Knocked his my brother's 2 front teeth got knocked out.
Oh my God.
And it was his senior year. He had senior pictures coming up, and it was pretty wild.
I like
but that was gonna be his best man in his wedding. They were friends. And my brother broke his nose with one. So he got a broken nose, and my brother lost his 2 front teeth.
Eric, did you grow up in a sports family?
Yes, I did. Yeah, my dad absolutely loved baseball. But real quick, back to Dad. Just real quick, we'll come back to me. So, how did you become a Giants fan? Where did that grow from?
My brothers.
Your brothers, okay.
My oldest brother, he just took into sports. I probably got it from our natural father, who was athletic. Right. I mean, both my brothers are very athletic. We were all athletic. I mean, my brother played for the Minnesota Vikings, my middle brother. So he was an all Pac-10 defensive back with Ronnie Lott and Ken Easley. So I was fortunate enough to be, I was probably the worst one athletically. They both got athletic scholarships, one to Cal and one to Hawaii for basketball. I was trying to make it as a kicker back in the, early 80s. And after I had a crappy junior college year of kicking, I said, I'm done. I just had, kickers, you get into a bad funk, and it is all mental. It was nothing but mental. I went out to kick, and I says, I can't miss. And when I'm confident, I said, this is easy going in. I'm making this, but when you get into a bad funk, it's like, oh, and then you start telling yourself, I can't miss this one, So, but anyway, I got into the Giants just naturally with my brothers. Yeah. We just, and we used to play the schematic little game with you put the little card in the round card in the disc and you spin.
Oh, we have a guy on the show plays that, don't we, Eric?
Yeah, I think I got. Did I get rid of that clip?
I just bought that. I haven't played it yet.
Senior. Senior
number
has
one was a home run. I remember guys like Harmon Killebrew, Frank Howard, all
Yep.
these big names, Willie McCovey. They had the wide number one, and then a 10 was a strikeout. I can't imagine Chapman's card. Half the card would be a 10. But
saw that coming.
but I mean, it was really fun, but we kept stats even in the games. We just would keep stats. And then when we listened to the Giants games, we actually kept score with a scorecard.
Right.
I just kept score, listen to the game. And you just learn the game that way. And then when I'm telling you, when we knew the Dodgers,
Did it look
the
like
Giants,
this? Catico?
yes, Catico, that's it.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I just bought one at Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to get me one. I'm going to play.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
I
you
love
could
that
get, you
game.
could get,
I bought
you
it.
could get
It came
players
with
from
little
nowadays.
cards, but I got they produce, you just order separately. The 2022 season is what I got. And there's, you get all the
man.
cards.
That's awesome.
You can update it every year.
We used to play it, and then we would mark the stats, and we kept the
Mhm.
league, and we would have my brother and I would have a league, and we would play against each other. And so, but when the Giants were playing LA, and you knew, like next week, and you'd start watching Channel 2 next week, Giants, we would plan our whole day around that. We would get pumped up for days because we got to see the Giants Dodgers. And it always came down, it seemed like, to the ninth inning. The Giants would either blow it, or the Dodgers would make this great comeback, or the Giants would sometimes make comebacks and win it in the ninth. It just was incredible games. Manny Mota pinch hitting for the Dodgers. Wow. Just a lot of fun. But baseball was a time to, I just loved the game. I just love sports. I mean,
and Dan, right? The common denominator of being a fan is what? It's the love of the game or the love of the team. That's where it stems from. It stems from, look, we don't become a Giants fan just to hate them. You become a Giants fan because you love them and you want to see them succeed. Granted, everybody has a different, idea of how they should be great, but ultimately all based on the love of that particular.
And not only the game, the competition, because you can be a ball fan. I love Australian rules football. I love hockey. I love baseball. There's just that A versus B. I mean, you put two crickets and have a cricket race. I'm cheering for one of them. Like,
it's funny you said cricket, because I was just thinking of cricket in my head.
A winner and a loser. What we used to do? Same thing, Dan, when I was a kid. It was about, we'd keep a scorebook, and my buddies would all come over, and you'd have to wait for like 2 hours for it's your turn to play. But we would have weeks and weeks of a tournament. And do you remember, it was probably about 3 feet long. You probably didn't have it. You're not a hockey guy, right? But in Canada, everybody had one of these. Table hockey, and you had to turn the steel rods and get your
I played that. Yeah.
And your goalie would shift sideways.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
Coleco, and then it went digital Coleco. But I think playing it on the little rink like that was more fun.
Yeah.
And then you'd break the spring, and you'd have to wait 6 months to get a new spring. And
yeah, I tell you, growing up was just 3 boys. I mean, it was just, I probably would have had, if my dad hadn't have passed away, my parents, it was a Italian Catholic family. So we were going to probably my parents wanted to have 5 kids, but I was the third one, and that was it. But so I had these 2 older brothers, that we'd play games out in the street, right in the middle of the street. We're playing baseball, and we'd have to stop for the cars and different things. But we had this big, giant, I don't know what they're called, arborvitae.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Is it on my screen or everybody?
Did I go out?
Oh, there he's back.
Okay.
There
Are you familiar with the arborvitae bush? It's real thick, and it's like, I don't know, just look it up. But it was this big, giant, huge shrub, and they either can grow straight up, or you can trim them, and they're like a hedge. Well, in between our house and the neighbors was this hedge of these bushes, and I would put a ski mask on, where you could see the eyes, and I'd put long jeans and long pants, and they would throw footballs and baseballs into those, and I would take off and just dive headlong, and that's how we learned to, just make diving catches and it was like, it was itchy and hurt like heck if you landed wrong, but it was just fun playing. We didn't have digital games to play. We were outside all through childhood.
True, Eric.
Yep.
And
from sun up to sundown, man. Especially if there was ice. For us, if there was a pond that was frozen, Eric, sun would be down. My parents would be looking for me.
Yeah, there it is. Arborvitaes.
Yep.
But these were cut and they were all like trimmed and we just dove. Yeah, and they were a hedge more. And we just dove headlong into these things, and they were like needles, but they were it's just
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Kids today, not only do they have all that stuff, everything's digital. Everything's on TV. Eric, my parents weren't exactly on the rich side growing up. So if you needed a puck, you found like a frozen piece of cow shit, man. And that's what you used.
Frozen piece of cow shit.
Okay.
That's what you did. You break that puppy up. You had yourself a hockey puck.
Hey, never thought I would ever hear.
You're going to be a goalie? I never had a goalie mask. You know what I used to wear? You know what you get? Never. You get a pair of scissors, and picture this, how cool it would look. You take a pair of scissors, and you cut out almost like sort of around on the side of a Javex bottle, and you cut the 2 eye slots out, and there you had a mask, a goalie mask. You'd have your baseball glove. You'd have your baseball glove. It was, dude.
That's pretty cool. You play with the puck, and then after the game, you just defrost it and have a snack.
See, again, I'm all about hockey. You guys wouldn't even remember. Every Easter, I'd get a chocolate puck.
A chocolate puck.
With my favorite.
I never knew they made chocolate pucks. You learn something every day, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Life was, I don't know. Maybe I just appreciated things more in my younger days.
I tell you what, let's get to Toby. It's been a while since we got to Toby.
Or if you've got money, right? Even in your older day, you've got money. I don't think people with money appreciate the things. Like, all the cards I have, Eric. I got a pretty extensive card collection.
Yeah.
When I had to save my allowance to get a pack of shovel like 8 neighbors' yards to get a pack of cards, I appreciated it.
Yeah. A little bit different, right?
And now stuff comes in the mail, and like Bernice says, geez, there's 800 packages every April for me to open. And I just get them and just throw them out, and they just roll in, man. There's no appreciation.
No appreciation. Toby, how did you become a fan? We heard about Dilly. We heard about Dan, Glenn. For myself, I haven't talked about it yet. But tell me, Toby, how'd you become a Giants fan?
A Giants fan. I think I became a baseball fan first.
Okay,
and I would say that came from my grandmother. So she liked for me to read her the newspaper every morning. So while she was cooking breakfast for everybody, she would have me read all the stats and the scores from around the league and such, and tell me who struck out the most and who's the league leader of this and who's the league leader of that. So I became a baseball fan before I became a Giants fan. Grew up a Giants fan always. I think my first heartbreak wasn't a girl. It was 2002 Game 6 of the World Series. Yeah, so I don't like bringing up that day, but I would say my first heartbreak was not a woman. It was Game 6.
How old were you, Toby?
2000. I was 9 years old at the time. So 10 years old.
I didn't know what a girlfriend was when I was like 30.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I thought girls were scary at the time. So that was definitely my first heartbreak. And then 2003, we had Pudge Rodriguez. I still hate that guy. I don't care. And us losing to the Marlins. Yes, when he holds the ball, that still irks me to this day. Like I still have grudges against certain players, and I hate the Angels and I hate the Marlins. So I was a baseball fan first, I like to say. And I wasn't as lucky as Dilly, where I got to see all 3 at once. I had to learn the heartbreak of the game first.
Gotcha.
So
So how did you become a Giants fan though? How did that get
same, my grandmother. So
grandmother?
she was in the bleachers all the time from Candlestick to the new stadium. She loved being there. She would find the cheapest tickets she could and bring all of us here. She had 5 kids, so it was a lot to do. So we didn't do it all the time, but when we did it, it meant the world to us. So
That's awesome.
The Giants were her team, so they will always be my team.
That
It's
is
cool about
awesome.
reading the newspaper, right? Like educational. My dad would
Yes.
take baseball stats from the newspaper, and we do math.
Yes,
He'd say,
that's how I got my math
Al
skills.
Oliver has 36 RBIs, and last year he had 105. How many does he have? And I'd have to do math.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Another
that's
thing
how I
about being
got good
a
at
fan
math.
another thing about being a fan is you get caught up. I told you my favorite ball player. Nobody ever heard of him. Mike Schooler, relief pitcher, Seattle Mariners. Nobody's ever heard of the guy. He's my favorite player. And in hockey, I just got a jersey in the mail. I had to pay like $100 just to get a custom design. My favorite player came today.
Marcel Dion.
No, Michel.
Oh, Michel
Dion. He was a goaltender.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the. I'm thinking of
that just came today.
What was the guy that I'm not as big into hockey, but wasn't there a?
So you're thinking Marcel Dion, who played for the Los
Montreal
Angeles
for the Canadians,
and there's Michel Dion, number 29.
Wow,
dude, it's like an Elks Lodge here. I can pull out any. You name a player, or
It's an Elks Lodge.
I've got the Ponderosa Pittsburgh, only available at 6 Ponderosa locations in Pittsburgh.
Is that it, Marcel Dion?
That's Michel Dion.
Are they okay? Are they brothers?
Nope.
No relation.
No.
The goalie I remember.
Marcel Dion's the little beaver. Michel Dion.
I remember 2 goalies growing up because I used to listen to the LA Kings pick them up and the California Golden Seals. Gilles Meloche.
He was a Golden Seal.
Yeah, Golden Seal. And then with the Kings, Rogie Vachon.
Yeah, Rogie played for Montreal, played for the Kings. Yeah. That was when they had the golden jerseys in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh, the blue and gold, right?
They were gold and black and white with the big golden, like the crown.
Yeah.
Purple. It was purple and gold.
Purple. That's what I remember.
And my neighbor played for the California Golden Seals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my next door neighbor. His name was Norm Ferguson.
Huh. My brother used to mow the lawns of a guy by the name of Craig Patrick for the California Golden Seals.
Craig Patrick lives in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he was he became a famous general manager.
Yeah, and then
he was the general manager. He built. Did you know this? Craig Patrick built the 1980 Olympic team that beat the Russians.
Oh,
no
wow.
shit.
With Jimmy Craig in nets.
Wow.
Jimmy Craig was the general manager of that club. See, you learn a little something on Giant Sports Talk Live tonight. And that's not baseball, but it ain't baseball. You never know. Music, hockey, football. You never know what you learn.
Good.
Oh, Bob Miller. Yeah, Cliff. Bob Miller was a great announcer for the Kings. He was fantastic. And I listened to Joe Starkey do the Seals.
Who was the guy that called? Because I remember on Fox, he used to be on Fox doing commentating. He was the coach for the Kings. What was his name? He always did the Fox games back in.
The guy that the good looking guy.
There.
Yeah,
kind of look like Gavin Newsom.
Barry Melrose.
Barry Melrose. Yeah,
that's
Barry Melrose.
Yeah, he was always calling game. He was the color guy, right?
Yeah, he was the guy that was always trying to look like Mr. Cool. With
Well, you know our Hall of Fame broadcaster Johnny Miller. He got his start. He was the broadcaster for the Oakland Seals.
Senior wants Greg to come in and tell us what a fan is.
Yeah, I put the link out there.
I think I saw Greg's little blurb at the very beginning before the show started.
Before you even started, yeah.
What a fan was somebody who was not critical of the team, I think he said.
Yeah.
I think I've come up with the perfect explanation of what a fan is. A fan is you have a love of a sport, a team, or a player, and you sprinkle on a little bit of like lunacy.
The little sprinkle on a little bit of lunacy. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, I
like
had a
you
lot of-
guys said earlier, you keep coming. I said, I don't know if you were with us earlier. I said to Eric, I said, what is it about a team that they can go out and lose a big game, Dan? And then when you go down the street, they're at the bar, they're hooping it up, or they're having all dinner together, and you're drowned, and you're like your year has come to an end, and they don't care. They don't care as much as the fan, I don't believe.
No, they don't. They really don't. Because I'll tell you this, when you play the game, and you would know this from playing hockey, and you go out, you feel like you had somewhat of control of the game. You gave it your best. You just happened to get beat by a better team that day. And you can be frustrated about it, but you can say, well, we left it out on the field, on the ice, on the court, whatever. Fans, we second guess and go, oh man, we should have, could have done this. If he would have done this. Well, when you're playing it, you just said, hey man, got beat by a better man today.
That's my brother, though.
Yes.
Me, I was usually long gone before the game was over. I'd be kicked out for second fight, and
No, not you, Glenn. No.
I had a short fuse. I jumped in one night. I jumped into the opposition's bench, took on the whole team. That was pretty rabid. Yeah.
Oh my God! But to go kind of get back to what we were talking about, it's and Dan, I think you summed it up nicely too. Is there's nothing wrong with criticizing the team again, it's what we feel as a fan from watching the game. Hey, I don't know if that's the right decision. I don't know if this is the right direction, and it's okay to do that because you just, again, like you were saying, we just want the best for the team. Everybody has a different idea of what that best consists of. Again, it's all relative, so to speak. So again, if someone is like, oh yeah, whatever they do, I'm all for it. You're kind of not, you're not having that critical thinking, so to speak. One of the
reasons I said lunacy was because, Eric, that I guarantee you, having been on this earth and cheering for every sporting association you can imagine, one thing that is a common denominator for all of us, no matter who we cheer for, and that is you are in for one hell of a lot more heartache than you are happiness.
Good point. That's
True.
a damn good point.
That's very true. Unless you're a Dodger fan now.
Yeah, and that's right.
But you know what? They've had how many years in the playoffs? They finally got one.
Yes.
They finally got one.
Hey, Dan.
13 to 24, they got one. And we're not Dodger fans, we're not counting 2020. You can count it, but you didn't get a parade. All you got is a fake Cracker Jacks box ring for 60 games. Okay. Whatever. You guys, but
I get it.
Look at how many times they won. So you're right, Glenn. Much more disappointment than victory.
A lot of
the
heartache.
agony, as Wide World of Sports, Jim McKay used to say, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. When the guy's coming down the slope and he falls off. Falls off the ski jump.
See, and isn't that another thing about sports? We can all remember the intro to that show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The NASCAR. I'd never seen NASCAR at that point, but they got the guy with the cameraman and he's running and the car is just ready to just belt him. Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
And that was what was that announcer's name?
Jim McKay.
Jim McKay.
Yes, Jim McKay. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yep. And this is Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell was on there. Yep.
Monday Night Football, everybody, and it's gonna be a barn burner.
Somebody mentioned Joe Garagiola. I think he was doing the Monday Night Baseball color commentary.
Going back to kind of real quick to the Dodgers, how do you think the Dodger fans are feeling? I talked to Alex on this before and Benji here in the chat. How did you think they felt about the Giants when the Giants were winning 3-5?
Oh, they were
right.
They were ripped, and we were loving it. And they're enjoying it now. But
it's
you know what? I'll tell you what. As a Giants fan, I got more thrill of watching the Dodgers choke in the playoffs than us not making it. If we didn't make it, it was like disappointment. But I got juice when the Dodgers lost. I felt like the Giants won the World.
You know what's funny? You say that, Dan? My entire family, the San Francisco Giants. There's a lot of San Francisco Giants fans in my family. if the Giants didn't make it, there was more joy in the Giants playing spoiler than it was for them to even get into the play. I mean, they took absolute joy in dashing Dodger hopes.
Do you know how much joy there will be this year if the Dodgers get knocked off in the NLCS or division series? Do you know? I mean, everybody's going to be gunning for them. The whole country's going to now root against them, except Dodger fans. So the pressure, I mean, they seem to have the players that can handle it, but
they're still going to win.
I mean,
Right.
with unless there's some kind of, what do you call
upset.
those?
Major upset.
What do they call those things that they say that's going to hit the earth and destroy it? Not a
asteroid.
An asteroid. There's some kind of asteroid. Meteor asteroid comes in. The Dodgers should be winning the whole thing, but anything can happen in sports. People go down.
Can happen.
People go down. Injuries.
Yep.
I mean,
but I think once you get through the first series, though, the thing that is adding these teams in these short series, I think is kind of. I love more baseball, but it kind of ruins it because before it was just the best of the best, and you had a 7-game series.
Right. Oh, how about the old days?
What happens to 7 games?
Yes.
Back then, yeah. But the old Black Sox days, they'd play 9. Cincinnati.
Back in the day.
But back to 7 games, the cream rises to the top pretty much always in a 7-game series. But now you got teams. That's a problem. That's a problem in baseball when you can win 115 games. You go in you get your bye. Second round, you play best of 5, you lose.
Yeah. I did a video today, guys. It's out on the Giants. Can they compete in the National League West? So I answered a lot of these questions about their over under. So you check it out. It's about 13 minutes long. But, I said the Giants nutshell if you want to know, if you don't want to have time to watch it. But basically, that I think they'll be right around a 500 team. But I pointed out for them, could they compete? Yeah, if everything goes right, really right. Harrison pitches to his potential. Birdsong does the same thing. Ray comes back to form of when he was closer to Cy Young. Verlander comes back to form. Webb remains Webb. All those things happen. Fitzgerald steals a bunch of bases, becomes Adonis and Chapman have the years they had last year. Matos blossoms. Lee comes. I mean, all this stuff.
Come on, Dan.
But my point is that's the only way they can.
That's the only way.
I'd be happy if 2 of those things transpire.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. For them to win 90, everything would have to go perfectly well. But I said at the end, the likelihood if 81 and 81 is right down the middle, and to the left is 90 losses, to the right's 90 wins, you're probably leaning more to this way.
Gotcha. I hear you. And Dan, what do you make of this? Alex Pavlovich put out a story today on NBC Sports Bay Area. It sounds like and we've heard it through Jeff Young. He was tweeting it. Birdsong looks like the guy on the outside looking in. Hicks is going to be in the rotation, man. Hicks is going to be in the rotation. Supposedly he's working out every single day since December. His goal is listen to this. His goal is to get 30 starts, and his fastball is going to be living between 97 and 99.
Oh my goodness.
Eric's gone away. Okay, well, before you answer that, when Dan comes back. Eric will be back in a sec. One thing that I am making note of the last few days on the show, Dan, you can agree or disagree. You probably agree because I'm a pretty smart guy. A lot of Farhan, a lot of the smell of Farhan.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we don't have a solid right fielder. We're platooning at first base at best.
Yep.
Second base, I don't know.
Question mark.
We got a bullpen pitcher that Eric said apparently a bullpen pitcher is going to take Birdsong's spot. Doesn't this smell an awful lot of what we thought we were getting away from?
Yeah, this is really ridiculous. If they're going to go with Hicks, and I talked about that today in the video, Hicks makes your team much better in the bullpen because you can have if Duvall bounces back, which I think if anybody can bounce back, Duvall can. He was electric in 23. If he can get his stuff back, you could have a back end of the bullpen of Hicks, Duvall, and Walker. And that shortens your need. I mean, for your starter, if you can get 5 good innings out of your starter, now you've got 3 guys in the back of the bullpen, and then you got a couple of Rogers and you got Miller. Somebody can pitch that 6th. You get to the 7th with the lead, you could be very tough to beat. But if you're going to go ahead and pull that garbage and put your rookie pitcher who actually shows the most potential to be a top of the rotation type guy, a number 2 guy like Birdsong, I believe Birdsong can be a number 2 in a rotation. You're going to knock him out. What happened with Posey saying we believe in our young pitching? Who's your young pitching? Harrison? That's it? That's it? Come on. Yeah. If you do that, I mean, I don't really care if Hicks pitches well like he did the first half last year. He's not going to last. He's not going to last. He will burn out again. He's not built. You don't go from 110 innings to 160 innings in a year. You just don't. And he went 100 what did he go last year? 129 maybe? 124?
Here, let's take a look. I'll take a look.
Yeah, I don't want to say he's lying, but there are a lot of unanswered questions that I had a different perspective of what this team would look like under Buster Posey.
I did not expect Jordan Hicks. I mean, this is a decision made by Farhan.
Did you hear what Dan said when you had popped out? I don't know. Did we lose you, Eric?
109 innings, not even 110.
So Dan questions Buster Posey came out a few weeks ago, didn't he? At the press conference, said, I believe in my young pitching staff. We're going to see what the young guys can do. And then we got a young up-and-comer, and in my opinion, I think Birdsong could be something. And he goes, we're going to bring our guy out of the pen. So what happened to the logic of using the young pitching, Eric?
Oh, don't get me started. Dan, you know where this is going, right? You know where this is going. When you come out and you make this is the biggest issue I have. And again, this is about being a fan, guys. This is just what it's about. This is what pisses me off. Farhan did it, and now it seems like Buster Posey is starting to do it. When you come out and you make these grandiose statements, we're in the business of making memories, right? Zach Manasian, he's a gunslinger, man. There hasn't been a whole lot of gunslinging going on. I believe in my young pitchers. Well, guess what? Now you're down to 1 young pitcher because now you're relying on Hicks. Because when you say young pitchers, right, Dan, you're talking about the prospects. We're not talking Jordan Hicks is not quote unquote young, in the sense of what Buster is probably trying to say. You're talking about, we're going to concentrate on getting a bat. Well, that hasn't happened. You wind up getting a freaking 42-year-old Verlander. So I don't like this. I don't like when guys are coming out and just in the beginning, he was doing fine. He was shutting up. Yes, he made the whole in the business of making memories. He signed Willie Adames. That was exciting. So we're okay. Maybe there's a change going on here. But ever since the signing of Willie Adames, it really hasn't been making memories, right?
Right.
We're going down memory lane, but we ain't making a whole lot of memories.
Yeah, and Birdsong actually pitched 129 innings last year between the minors and the majors. So
23
why
years
would you not? He's already kind of getting stretched out. He could probably go 150 this year.
And you know what, Dan? You know what he did? He came out. He wasn't expected to pitch last year because of injury. Well, injuries changed it. He came out, did well his first few starts. Then he ran into trouble, right? But then when he finished the season, he came back strong. It showed that he had that ability to adjust and adapt and say, hey, I can figure something. That's huge. Hicks didn't do that. Hicks wore out and then he was done. Harrison was done. I mean, I'm not going to, Harrison's still young, but still Birdsong out of those 3 showed more promise than Harrison and Hicks. And why you don't go out there, maybe there's I think Pavlovich talked about it. There's going to be a competition, but maybe Birdsong outbeats Harrison. Who knows? But how can you not have both of those guys, either Harrison and Birdsong, rather than Hicks? Hicks, we talked about this, Dan. He set him up for success, and his success was in the bullpen. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Why? What's the saying? Don't fix what ain't broken. He was a really good reliever.
Yes.
And now they've made him into an average starter that can't go long because he's not stretched out, and he's never pitched. Last year was the most innings he's ever pitched in his career. So what makes you think he's going to all of a sudden give you 150? Right.
That's a big jump.
So,
and if you think you're going to be throwing 97 and 99 your entire season, you got to be built like Nolan Ryan. You got to be built like Justin Verlander. You got to be built. You got to have the physique to be able to do that. And then, granted, I think from what Paul was saying, he's a pretty decent sized guy. But still, if he hasn't done it before, let me ask Dilly, because I know you're big on some of these pitches.
Yeah, I was just about to say, pitching's kind of like. That's why I like to. I suck at analyzing bats. I like pitching much better.
I know you like pitching. Yep.
Your first round pick in fantasy was Corbin Burns. We know that.
Yeah, and thank God, because Strider was a disaster. That's who it was going to be. Going to be, and then I dodged that bullet. Anyways, I think this goes back to Posey. Posey being a catcher and knowing pitching, specifically young pitching, because his first case study was Bumgarner, basically, and that duo grew up basically in the league, in the majors together, so on and so forth. So if Posey, I think I'm going to put quite a few of my eggs into the Posey basket when it comes to the management of the rotation, in terms of like who he's going to have on tap for Melvin to use. And if you see something in Hicks, then I'm just going to have to say that you've been a phenomenal catcher who's seen a lot of really good pitching and a lot of young guys, a lot of veteran guys, all this kind of stuff. If you see something in Hicks and Harrison, if you think Birdsong's not quite ready, he needs to cook a little bit more in AAA, then I think I'm just going to have to rely on that expertise that he brings. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, what better human being to put faith into their analysis of a pitcher than Buster Posey?
I get what you're saying.
Like,
that makes sense. But could you imagine the bullpen of a Hicks, Duvall, and Walker?
Yeah, no, that'd be amazing. You're not even talking about Eric Miller.
Yes.
Or
Randy Rodriguez.
Randy Rodriguez, who's just Duvall 2.0.
Gosh,
with a better
dang, man, that would just be awesome. Just get the guy. You've already seen what Birdsong could do. Look, if Harrison has to start in AAA, okay, maybe he has to work on mechanics because he's got some. He's herky jerky, right? We've talked about it before, but
and I still think all of his problems are fixed with velocity. You just throw harder and you're fine.
And maybe,
I think possible. I hope that. I don't know if that falls under Randy Wynn's jurisdiction or what, but I hope whoever
JP, right?
It would be, probably JP as well.
I think it's gonna be JP.
Either way, I hope that he just tells him throw hard, and if it's close to the zone, you'll get swings and misses.
Right.
So, but
I agree with Dan though. Build the bullpen with he's a great bullpen pitcher. He has been, and I think he will continue to be. And I don't want to throw out a word. I mean, people got to have faith in Posey, I guess, until proves otherwise, right? What's the one thing probably more than anything else in baseball or in sports that I hate more than anything else, Eric? It's a gimmick. I don't like, let's turn this guy into a starter. Well, look at last year, Eric. He was a starter. Then he's in the bullpen, and now he's going to be a starter again. I just, when you were away, I said to Dan, there's still a lot of stench of Farhan.
It is, but I'll tell you, and here's my take with this. Buster Posey's only done this for 3 months. I'm not going to pass judgment on just 3 months worth of work. Farhan, we had years of what he's done to make that assessment. 3 months is hard, especially look. He's never done this before. Zach Manasian has never done it before. That's why I said they should have got a more.
Yeah, they should have went with.
They should have.
Buster should have went with somebody who knew way more than him, that had experience running a team. The mistake I think the Giants made, guys, was making Posey the president of baseball ops in title. He could have hired a president of baseball ops and run the team. And Posey, that guy could have just reported to Buster. Buster was an owner. Mm-hmm. He didn't need to be. Now what you ended up doing, and I said this was going to happen.
Hey, we hear you. Hold on, Greg.
Oh, good phone. I'll hurry. And what I said before they hired.
Oh, can you?
Here, I'm. Hey, Greg, real quick. Hey, Greg, we hear you. I think you got a little bit of a delay because you're on the phone. We'll get to you here in a minute, Greg. Go for it, Dan.
Hello.
Hang in there. We'll be back. We'll get you in a sec.
Hold on one sec. All right, cool.
So here's. I'll say this real quick. So that when Posey, I said what they should have done is not put him in the Pobo position, because in baseball, you cannot do a lateral move. So you cannot bring in a Pobo if he's Pobo. So, and no GM is going to want to come in as just a GM, because that's a lateral move. So you were going to be forced to go to an assistant GM. And that's what they got, basically. Exactly. They could not get anybody who was really, really qualified, because Posey had the Pobo job, and no general manager is just going to come over and become a general manager. So they should have Posey should have just said, okay, I'm going to be over baseball ops as an owner. And then you could have hired an actual GM with experience and made him a Pobo as a promotion. And then Posey would just still be doing the same thing he's doing right now, I believe, which is just kind of in on everything. But your general manager, you don't think that when Brian Sabian was running the team that Ned wasn't in on everything? Of course.
Of course he was. Yeah.
So why wouldn't you bring in an experienced GM and let Buster didn't need to be a title. He's a freaking owner.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dan. I never even thought about the quote unquote the rules with the lateral moves, no lateral moves. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, because when you come over, it's got to be a promotion, right?
Right. It's got to be a promotion. You can't make the lateral moves. And the other thing is most GMs or president of baseball ops that were really good, they wouldn't want the job if they couldn't do it their way.
Right.
They'd say, no, I don't want to be second man. That's why Kim Ning, or however you say her name, she didn't want the job because she was not going to be in charge to run it.
Correct. Okay? Right. You're answering for someone.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so the way they set it up is you've got two inexperienced guys in the front office, and Buster's going to learn on the hard way that it's his clout, his name is not going to people are going to come because I'm Buster Posey and I played and I'm only 37 and I can relate to these guys and they're going to relate to me and they're going to want to come here. No, you're going to have to convince them and you're going to have to pay them.
Right.
Were you a little concerned when you heard him say the other day or a week ago that, yeah, I'll have problems. I have issues with trading players, especially that, he was a guy who played, right? You can't get caught up and have the fandom of your own players. You got to be able to say, appreciate what you did for the organization. You've been dealt.
I think this is a problem that a lot of teams have in the Bay Area. Kyle Shanahan gets too close to his players. Steve Kerr's got too close to his players. And if you're too close to the players, you got to be somewhat unemotional. And you just got to say, boom, you know what? We're in it to win. This is a business. And, he had Yaz. He played with Yaz. He signed Yaz basically $9 million, brought him back. Why? No idea.
So you think it'd be tough for him to cut a Yaz or trade a Yaz?
It would be cut. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, Yaz is a good guy. And you like guys with good character. I mean, guys, it helps the clubhouse. But you also, besides character, you got to have some talent.
Right. Absolutely. You're playing baseball here, right?
Yeah.
This isn't freaking. This isn't a
Eric,
damn.
let's go to line 6. Got Greg
Hello.
here. Greg, how are you?
What's up, Greg?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's perfect now. You sound good.
Okay. Sorry. Technical difficulties out here.
Hey, no worries, man. Wait, where are you calling in from?
I'm just out, being a fan.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look at this guy. Look at this
What
guy.
makes a fan sitting out in the park at
Just waiting for opening day.
10 o'clock at Oracle Park on January 21st. Yep.
Look at this guy.
The door locked.
Oh, that is great.
I don't know. I heard you guys were talking about fans, and I just wanted to chime in and say, yep,
Hey.
I'm a fan.
Try jumping over the fence right now. We'll see if SFPD is at work.
No, the security knows me too well. They'll have me.
There's a fan, Eric. There's a fan who wears his giveaway with all those pins all over it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man. That is freaking
You gotta
awesome.
wear it proud, man.
Greg, I got a question for you. This will decide if you're a true blue fan. How many Hawaiian shirts have you got?
6.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god.
99
Holy
crap. There you go.
I got them all.
Now,
You ever take one on vacation and try to wear the freaking thing?
I took one on vacation, and it was the first time I ever tried to wear one. And I got halfway to the beach and turned around and put it back in the closet. Like they fit horrible.
Oh, made in China, man. And they scratch you. They're crap, man.
If you're a man of my physique, it doesn't look good to have a big neck collar.
oh, gotcha.
You know, you need to put some time in the weight room. Otherwise,
There you go.
Oh man, that's great. So talk to us. Do you have? I mean, you really don't. How do we want to say?
Oh, maybe he's not going to talk to us, Eric. We've
Well,
lost.
I think he's just turning off the camera. Maybe. Are you still there? Nope. Never mind. Hold on. We'll wait till he gets back. We'll see if he shows back up. Now that's freaking hilarious.
Is he on his skateboard? Is he on a skateboard down there?
He might be.
Probably.
He might be.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome, dude. That was classic. Showing up there and he's back. Here we go. Let me kick him out.
At the ballpark.
just kick him out of there.
Get him out of there, and then we'll bring him back in. There he is. There you are.
this is not easy on the phone, huh?
No, it's not, man. I'm telling you, with the Wi-Fi and everything, sometimes it could get a little bit weird.
How are we gonna do opening day, Glenn?
Yeah, that's what
Already
I'm saying.
set up. It's already set up. Got the Wi-Fi from the bowling alley on the corner. We're all set up, buddy. Opening day live show for Oracle Park, baby. Are you coming on with me?
Yeah, I'd love to. I missed everything you guys have talked about. So, quick wrap up and give me the top 3 things that consist of the San Francisco Giants fan.
Well, we were. It was more just. Are we? Is a fan a person who just believes in the team wholeheartedly without any reservations and whatever they do, everything is right. Yeah, can you hear?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, he can't hear us. We're having some technical.
Well, this can't do it.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Take it back to the studio. Go back to. He'll be in the studio in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, damn, that sucked because that would have been fun to talk to him about that stuff because
cool.
he's sitting there over there in front of Oracle Park.
Want to get one more shot?
Yeah, hey, yeah, we can try.
Bring it in fast before we lose you.
Okay, I turned off Bluetooth. Maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, that will help. Yes.
But did you guys have like a consensus for what makes a San Francisco Giants fan?
Well,
Got to be a bit of an idiot.
Yeah. You have to have some tough skin. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What we were trying to say is, you got different types of fans who wholeheartedly believe in everything that the Giants do, no matter what they do, is you're good with it. It's okay without any kind of
That's
critical
a homer.
thought. Right. Correct.
See, the word fans is short for fanatic.
Correct.
So what you're basically saying is your mind is not normal for whatever you're obsessing on.
Whether it's
So
negative
if you're
or
a
positive.
fanatic, if you're a fan of the Giants, all you can think about is the Giants, whether it be positive or negative, you wake up and eat, sleep, and dream about the Giants. And as a fan, usually you want them to win. So
Yes.
the frustrations of them not winning comes at a cost to your brain, and that's where things get crazy. But I would say that a fan can give their team tough love, but they do not want to hear it from others.
You just
Okay.
described me
You're
until
defensive of your
2003.
team.
Dan just said the same thing, literally.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Senior, we're going to be doing the show on opening day from Oracle Park, right across the street.
Do you think that you agree or no?
That what do you think, Dan? How he says, hey, yeah, did you live and die in your brain?
Oh, yeah, that was me from like the time I was, 12 years old till about 40 something.
Right.
And after the 2003 JT Snow debacle where he was thrown out by 30 feet at home plate, I just kind of lost it. I blame now with my ex-wife. I blamed her.
I love it.
She was, yapping at me because I was trying to watch the game in peace, and she kept, and I said, just quiet, they're rallying. And she just kept, hey, she didn't like me watching the game. I was back in Connecticut, and then he got thrown out. I said, see what happened if you would have just shut up.
There you go.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Brave man.
That's the fanatic coming out, right?
That was the fanatic. That was the fanatic and the idiot, coming out. But the unreasonableness. But whoa, my computer just knocked over.
Whoa.
But you're always looking for a scapegoat, also, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Russ Ortiz is a scapegoat, and you have these guys that like, oh, this guy should have done this, otherwise we would have won.
Yeah, that's part of the fandom. There's no doubt about that. No, of course. And again, if you're criticizing with some validity, that's a difference between criticizing because you're pissed off, right?
Or to the opposite, when you think we're better than we are, when guys in our chat are fanatics.
Could go same way.
Fanatics. 90 wins, Eric. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. You're a fanatic.
The thing that I get frustrated by as a fan is, I think the reason I found you guys is because I just hate KMBR and how little they give to the Giants as their flagship radio station. All they do is talk about the Warriors and 49ers all day, and then they got 30 minutes of Kruko or Kuiper once a day. And basically everything else that's Giants is the Giants suck. Talking shit about how the Giants suck, whatever. Brian Murphy says he won't go to Giants-Dodger games because he's scared of all the Dodger fans. Like, it's just like not a good representation of a San Francisco Giant fan. I feel like we need to live and die with our team. And if you're a Giants fan, you were there for 3 World Series in 5 years. You're going to be there for 5 shitty years in 7 years. It's give and take, and everything happens in ebb and flow. You don't know what the Dodgers are going to do this year.
On
they
paper,
could have the best team in the world and all get hurt and all not like each other and the ball go the wrong way all the time. And they, things can happen. So we have to wait and see. And for a guy like Buster Posey to just put everything aside, he does not need to be in the position he is. For him to come back and live in the Bay Area, that's the type of guy we want. That's a guy that's like, I love the Bay Area, I love the team, I love the history, and I want to be here as a San Francisco Giant to make the Giants great again. And when he brings in a Willie Adames and Willie goes down to the Dominican Republic to welcome the new guy, these are the type of guys that are like building the foundation of like, it's not just a Juan Soto who's a great player, but a piece of shit human being. These are like the whole deal of what a Giant is to these guys. And
that's fair.
I think you have to give Buster at least till opening day. Like we haven't even.
Oh, I get it.
Right? So like I think constructive criticism is fine, but I think it needs to be sprinkled in with optimism as well.
That's fair. And you know what? To this point, hey, Dan, would you agree? Glenn, same thing. I talked to you about this yesterday, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Then go out there and get freaking Alex Bregman. He seems like the guy that is exactly what Buster Posey is all about. A guy who wants to win. He goes out there 162. He plays his heart out. He's no nonsense. He seems again to be. So that's what my issue right now, particularly with the Giants, is not so much Buster Posey as much as it is ownership. Dan, we've been talking about ownership for freaking years now.
And that's what we have we don't know about that, right? We don't know what Buster's restraints are at all.
But we do know, here's the thing, and I'll keep doing it. We do know they're spending billions on real estate when they could be spending it on, right? You see what I'm saying? There's nothing that says you have to stay below the CBT. Sometimes, I'm not going to advocate always going over to CBT, but when you're making that much damn money, then go out there and put more money onto the field. If you want, look, you can make more money, man. Get what do you want to call it? Think outside the box with these contracts. If everyone else is deferring, why can't you defer for freaking to get a guy? You know, if you want to stay below the CBT, I say the hell with it. I mean, you're gonna free up a lot of money next year, anyways. So this year you may take a hit, but who cares? Go out there and just then do it and give him the support.
And Greg, I don't think you have to have optimism for the sake of, hey, I gotta have it. You know that I didn't renew my season ticket this year. I don't have season tickets. I'll wander around, see watch you getting autographs, and I'll go when I want to go. But they haven't won me over.
But so that are you just not?
They've given me no reason to go over there and drop my money on a season ticket this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that season tickets is a big investment and commitment and all that. Yeah. But I also
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. You're a fanatic. I'm a fan. You're a fanatic.
No, but fan is short for fanatic.
Yeah.
You can't be a fan.
For some of you, I think it stands for fantasy.
Well, maybe you got to start doing a Dodgers talk show. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, man. Here we go.
So, but I mean, honestly, it's like for me, because maybe I'm different than you. You guys, I think, like all sports a lot. And I really love baseball, and I don't care about football. I can deal with basketball, and I like hockey, but nowhere near baseball. So the fact that I haven't had it for this long, I don't really even... I'm not worried about what their record's going to be right now. I just want to get in the stadium and watch some games.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
How many wins? How many wins this year, Greg?
I'm saying as of right now, 81.
Okay.
They're going to be
that's fair.
They're going to be right at 500. But here's my prediction: they are not done. Something else is going to happen, and that could bump it up. If they sign Alonso, Ha-Seong Kim, get a pitcher, I don't know, outfield, I really hope that they don't start the season with Yaz, Wade, and Wilmer. They need one of those guys not on the team, and the team will be better.
Wade.
Two of them.
See?
Easy.
Well, I can
deal with that.
Yeah. If two of the three are gone and they make room for somebody else,
really?
I think
you think they'll get rid of Yaz and Wade?
Yaz could get traded. Yaz is the salary they need to get rid of if they want to try and get an Alonso.
Yes.
And Taylor Rogers, right?
You know what?
Yes, he's making 11. Yeah, Taylor's making 11. So between those two, there's 20 million, and that's basically, and you still got another 15, 20. I think left. Yeah. So that easily, I think you can get Alonso for 25 million AAV.
Right.
But for how many years?
I would do 4, and I'd give him an opt-out after 2.
There you go.
Just do it. You have to.
So here's my 2 questions that I have, and I don't know if any of us have the answer, but these are the things that have been weighing on me. And one is are the Giants possibly waiting till next year to really spend a lot of money?
But on who?
Wait, hold on.
but just listen, like if they stay under the cap this year, then they go back to regular, and then they can go next year over the cap and get fined just once. But if they get fined this year, it just keeps building, right? So they're trying to halt, and maybe like they're going to go all in on Tucker next year. If they got Tucker, that'd be huge, right? If they got Vladdy, that'd be huge. Those are two players. I don't think we could get them, but if they think like there's no stopping us next year, we're going all in on this one guy. We're going to overpay everybody, whatever. Steve Cohen probably could still overpay them, but I'm just saying is that may be a philosophy. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I got to run here, but I will say this in closing for me. I think if you want to get Tucker, you have a much better chance of getting Tucker if you have Alonso.
Agreed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, we apologize to your wife. Apparently, if Dan's got to go, the wife has gotten mad, gotten upset.
Yeah, I got to get up early. I got to take the dog into the vet tomorrow at 7 in the morning. It's 10 after 11 here.
Good seeing you, Dan. You do a great
Yeah, you
show.
too, Greg.
I love it.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys. Hey, thanks for having me on. Love
All
it.
right, you bet, Dan. Thanks, man. Hey,
Thanks.
make sure you guys check out NorCal Sports Network. You'll see Dan over there. Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bud.
All right, there was Dan, man. That was fun.
The man, the legend.
One more thing too is the other thing is, are the Giants so sick of being in the media as we're going to get them, and they don't get them, that they don't want to, like maybe they are going after Alonso, but they don't want anyone to say they are in case they don't get him.
Could that
you know what I mean? Like
that could be
so,
possible.
like Willie Adames, nobody heard anything, and all of a sudden he's on our team.
True.
So I don't know if Buster seems like more of a secretive, like playing.
Oh, I don't think he's secretive any longer, because he came out in the media last week and says, or 2 weeks ago now, I guess, and said, "No, I have utmost faith in all my young pitchers."
Well, the pitch.
Now we learn that the young pitchers might not be in the starting rotation.
Pitching sound we're talking about because he did say they were done looking at pitchers and they were going to go for a bat. But then again, they signed Verlander after that statement, which was a little bit weird. And again, you know why? I think I know why. Because I think they knew they were out on Roki Sasaki, and he wanted to get, because that's why he said he believes in his young pitchers, because I think Roki is going to be part of that. So then he had to go get another pitcher.
That's why I think it happened a few days before.
Now
I think he knew.
And again, it kind of put a wrench in the works, because now you had to get into more of your payroll, because if you didn't have to pay the $15 million, now you had a lot more money available. So now the Giants are having to do some funny business to try to figure out maybe to get one of these bats. Now, Ha-Seong Kim for me is not the guy ain't going to be able to play probably until June, July. What's the purpose of even doing that?
Yeah.
It has to be a Bregman or an Alonso, right?
Hey, Greg, what's the word on the street over there? You should be our roving reporter. You got anybody wandering around in a Giants hat, or anybody homeless, or anything to talk to?
You know who's putting it in over here is Jordan Hicks. Yeah. He's here every day, throwing, working out, all that stuff. And the guys that work here are like, he wants to pitch 30 games this year. That's his goal. So
yeah,
we'll see. Like, I think he learned a lot last year from conditioning and stuff, and maybe he's going to figure it out, but
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, Greg, has any of the ball players ever lived in the Arterra?
Not since I've been there.
How long have you been there?
3, I think 3.5 years.
Oh,
4
is
years.
that all? Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. We've been there.
Well,
since
Cheryl's been there since it opened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Lamont Wade used to live across the street.
Did he? Cool. That's where all my mail's been going, across the street, man. It's terrible. I'll kid you not. If your mail goes missing, or I'm telling you, got to get in there, and they don't have a mailman, a mail desk person, it's just thrown around. You got to go through it like it's Christmas trying to find one addressed to you.
Is Toronto going nuts over Santander? What's the word up there?
Are they? I haven't heard any. Are they happy?
I have them down for 43 home runs next year.
I think they're just happy to get someone finally.
Toby, you're right, dude.
46. Right. I have them down for 46 home runs.
They missed so many guys this offseason.
They might have been worse than us over the last couple
Yep.
of years. They were in on everybody. They've been the
Yup.
finalists for everybody.
Yep.
But do you guys agree that missing out or whatever, not getting Corbin Burns was kind of like the pivotal part where you
That,
just kind of started being like, what the hell?
yeah. Because I got
Yeah.
a feeling, I mean, I could be wrong. I wonder if the Giants are going the direction of a Corbin Burns, Roki Sasaki rotation and be okay with just Willie Adames for that point, for that period. But now that they missed on Corbin Burns, now they have to maybe go a different direction, just going by Verlander and then having to get a bat. I don't
Even
know.
without Roki, I think Corbin and Logan at the top and Ray, I think you're starting to have a pretty good
Yes.
feel. And
Yes.
then the young kids can all have that competitive fire because there's only a couple slots and there's more dudes than slots. And so they're going to have to play their best and perform. That's when you get the best out of these young guys.
Right.
But
And
I don't know why, but I guess Corbin wanted to be close to whatever. We've heard a million things, but I really thought I tell you guys this all the time. Before it all started, I said Giants need Snell, Freed, or Burns. They have to get one of those three guys. And as they started falling, I was like, they got to get Burns, and they didn't. And I was like, man, that sucks, especially going to our own division.
yes, and Turd, he says we didn't miss out on Burns. They chose. No, they did choose to pursue him because
He
Corbin
came out and
Burns
said
even
we
said
offered him something.
Corbin
Yeah.
Burns said he only had 2 offers that were more than what the Arizona Diamondbacks were offering, and it was from the Blue Jays and the Giants. So don't believe that crap out there where people are saying, "Oh, well, they just weren't in on it." No, the Giants were definitely in on Corbin Burns.
So do you blame the
100%.
team? Do you blame the team for that? He just chose the Diamondbacks and just
You should have just
left
taken
money on the
opt-outs.
table.
Should have just
Yeah.
taken opt-outs.
I
I mean,
still blame
everyone's
the
doing
team.
that.
Get it done. I blame the team.
I
It
think
was there for the taking.
whether they pursued him or not, they missed out on an opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know if we can blame the team. And I don't know if we can blame the team for not getting Ohtani and Judge and Harper and all these guys. But we haven't got anybody, and everybody's super frustrated, and we want somebody. And that's why I think Adames was great. And if they have the opportunity to get Bregman or Alonso, they should, to just have that feeling of like, we got some guys. And next year, we're going to get some more guys. And all of a sudden, we're building this thing. Like, that's how you build, like block by block, not like light switch. It's all here. It's never going to work like that.
And here's
There you
another thing.
There
And
you
here's
go.
another thing, Greg. And I think I don't know if I can't remember. Maybe I told you. Maybe I was on the show that I was talking about. I can't remember. You might have been in the chat. When has a top free agent ever turned down a Giants offer where the Giants offered the most? For Judge, they offered the same as the Yankees. For Ohtani, they offered the same as the Dodgers.
Was it Harper?
Harper, they offered less because Philadelphia came in on 330. So
Then maybe no one, right?
Look, maybe Jung Hoo Lee. Maybe the Giants offered the most to Jung Hoo Lee. That's why he came to the Giants.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is you got to be able to, you have to far and exceed, as to a certain extent, a offer for a player for them to even want to consider. You see what I'm saying? If they never have offered the most, then you can't blame, quote unquote, the organization, so to speak.
That was Farhan's best move. Getting
Well,
Jung
Farhan left us in a pickle. And
He
so
did leave us in a pickle.
we have to remember that, like, the reason that we have Manias and Posey and a bunch of new people is because it wasn't working.
Correct.
And so we have to give these guys some time to acclimate to where their new roles, seeing the team. Spring training will be huge. And then we'll see, like, what's our team and what condition are they in and who are our top 5 starters for pitching and what's the bullpen look like. The Dodgers, it's just ridiculous. I think at this point, everyone should just like kind of just turn that name off and be like, hey, they're just going bananas and whatever. That's a whole different thing. but us and the rest of the teams in Major League Baseball, we're on the same path, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that have not done anything, and the Giants have
Yes.
at least done a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if Luke Casey's going to be anything, but we got like 3 or 4 guys. That Huff guy for catcher, I don't know if that's going to be anything, but
Matter of fact, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I saw this. Where is it at? Here we go.
I agree with Turd, by the way.
Here we go. I like what Jeff Young, look what he put. MLB free agent signings by the NL West teams this offseason. Dodgers, 7, including the Kirby 8s. Rockies, 3. Giants, 2. Diamondbacks, 1. Padres, 0.
right. See, the Padres haven't done anything, and there's rumor they're going to start dumping guys. So
That's only rumor.
I think the Giants could play with the Diamondbacks and the Padres. I don't think that it's 4th place locked in.
See, that's being a fanatic. That's being a fan right there, Eric.
That's just being of baseball knowledge. The ball rolls a lot of different ways.
True.
Like you said,
start playing.
Glenn, you said the Giants were not the best team the years they won the World Series.
They weren't.
Well,
And they were
there
able
you
to pull it
go.
out. No.
There you go.
Once the games start, that's a different story. I agree. On paper, right now, Giants are 4th place, right? On paper. Once the games start playing, then we could start.
And we worry they're in 5th place. But we'll see.
No, but look at the Padres. Did they get better when they lost Soto? Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And to be honest with you, the Padres are they're about the same as they were last year, minus Jurickson,
No, but
Profar,
they got
Tanner Scott.
Musgrove is gone.
Musgrove's is gone. But you still got Dylan Cease. You still got Michael King. You still got Yu Darvish, who are going to be decent.
Oh, but Jackson Merrill, right?
Jackson Merrill's still out there. They still got Manny. They still got Fernando. They still got Jake Cronenworth. They still got Arias.
Yeah.
Bogart.
I just think teams that have like noisy off seasons, things that don't have to do with the actual team that plays on the field and things around, they have really hard seasons. Look, the 49ers, they had a noisy off season with guys not wanting to sign or holding out and this and that. And I feel like the season just went to shit before it started. And who knows how that goes for the Padres? Like having that over your head and still having to play and you're getting pulled different directions, like that might be a very bad recipe.
Yep. Look at Ibrahim brings a great comment. Remember on paper, Holiday, Lee, Oswalt, Hamill's rotation. It was supposed to be unbeatable. Giants took care of him in 2010, right?
That's
so
right.
I mean, it's again, doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. No, but that's the beauty of just sports in general. Because once the game is starting to be played, you just don't know. You just don't know. Now you usually get a better understanding, like after about 2 to 3 months worth of the season. Then you could start making some educated guesses on where the Giants or whatever team you're rooting for, what direction they're heading.
Abraham's right, but we had a hell of a team too, Eric.
Yeah, that young pitching staff. Yeah, I would say let's see how we look at the trade deadline. Are we buyers? Are we looking at those? Are we looking at maybe Valdez? Let's say the Houston Astros aren't the Houston Astros anymore and they're looking to offload Valdez. Why not go for someone like that?
Well, you know what's funny?
I hate about doing this show, though, Eric. One of the things I absolutely despise. We're sitting here January 22nd, and guys, there's Toby talking about wait till the trade deadline, Eric.
No, I'm saying look at the team by the deadline. We'll see by the deadline.
That's what he's trying to say. Look at the team. Where the team's
Yeah,
going
but
to be.
we shouldn't even be talking about that now. We should be fired up for the season, not talking about who we're going to get rid of.
All we're doing is talking about how to make the team better. And you know what? Here's the issue. Talking about the trade deadline. Who would we trade in the first place? You're not trading Chapman, you're not trading Willie Adames, and you're not trading Justin Verlander. So who would you trade?
Yeah,
Webb. Who else?
They're not trading Webb.
Can't trade Verlander.
Can't trade Verlander.
At the deadline?
No, he has a no trade clause.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I know. Weird.
Well, nobody else is really, I mean, as you can see, we're not making trades. That's because we don't have a lot of demand for people, except for the ones we don't want to get rid of.
Right.
Everybody wants Eldridge.
Everybody. That's how highly everyone thinks of him.
Yep.
That's why, honestly, if Vladdy's contract was for like 4 or 5 more years,
I would do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, if you had 3 years of control,
Yeah, I would trade LD right now for somebody that is already the guy. No problem.
Yeah, for Houston and for the White Sox to ask for Eldridge and to see what they got back, it didn't make sense for us.
no, it didn't. I agree because they didn't give
they're
up a
taking
whole lot.
advantage of Buster being like
Yes.
new to it.
I think you're right. I think there was some
Yeah.
finagling going on.
Or
We'll
he's
get
the
over
only
on
piece
Buster.
that we have that's usable.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'll tell
think-
you
I
something.
think
I'm gonna
we
tell you
got
something
some-
right now.
Arms.
Low grade hero, Dodgers getting Bregman. We are going to need it. I'm going to say right now, I'll tell you right now, if the Dodgers get Bregman, I'm losing my mind.
They're
I
gonna
thought
win
the
140
Dodgers were gonna
games.
get
Flag.
Arenado.
Or trade for Arenado. Oh my God, dude.
Please, no.
Dude.
They've already broken baseball, Eric.
Dude. Could
it's
you
Yeah,
so
they'll
imagine?
just trade all the pitching they have left over.
They got all that pitching to trade.
They're not going to need to trade for anything.
They have a
No.
rotation of pitchers that they just have on the side.
That's right.
That would start for most teams.
That's right.
Did you see
Yep.
the quote? Andrew Friedman says they're doing all the work today so they don't have to do any moves in July. That's what he said.
You won't have to make any
And
moves.
we're worried about
for 4 years.
July.
I know. Did you hear him? He said that. Yeah, I don't want to buy in July. So that's why they're doing everything now. I was like, jeez, must be nice. It must
very
be nice to have an ownership group that says, hey, you need money? We got it. Have at it.
It's cool though for me. I like to be the underdog, and everybody's gonna be going after the Dodgers with all.
Oh, yeah.
So if the Dodgers do anything but win the World Series, they lost big
Yeah,
time.
right.
So there's a lot of pressure on them, and they don't do well in pressure. How many
I don't-
times have they won the National League West and gone nowhere?
Greg,
Every
they've
year.
already won.
Won.
No, they've already won.
No, they
The
haven't.
season hasn't started, man.
No, because there's a lot of teams who win the offseason. Yes, they're having the most ridiculous
We did a
offseason,
poll
but-
recently, and the poll said, what is the most important thing? It's making memories. You don't think there's going to be a lot of memories made in the next decade in LA, win or lose, if they don't win it in the next 10 years? They got to.
I don't think the players care
more
about
memories.
memories. I think they're trying to win.
Yeah. Kirby Yates didn't sign
He-
for memory. He's trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Dude, it's about the fans. I don't care about the players, man. It's about the fans.
I'm just saying the Dodgers are not a shoo-in. It doesn't work like that in baseball.
Well, I'm betting on the Dodgers to win it all next year.
Well, everyone is, and that's why you're not going to make much money if you win, and you'll lose if you lose.
Well, if you lose, everybody does lose, Greg.
You got to bet on the Giants, I'm telling you.
Greg,
I think the only
I'd like to
rotation
bet
that
on
can
you.
match
I'd like
up
to
is
bet
the
on you,
Phillies right
but
now.
I can't.
Hey, I'm
I'd like
telling
to
you,
bet on you.
79. Bet the over.
Yeah, I kind of like that by a game or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Minimal
then they don't.
a game
But
or two.
Greg, you come on and you said, well, if that's their over under, and that's where you think they're settling in,
I think
it's gonna be a fun year, but we ain't making the playoffs.
they might not make the playoffs, but it's going to be a 500 year at worst.
Well, that's pretty worse.
And the memories that Chapman and Adames and Jung-Hoo Lee are going to make in the outfield, it's going to be a lot of exciting baseball. We're going to have athletes for the first time in a long time instead of these old guys with no legs.
Athletes, come on! You got Ramos out there. He can't play the outfield.
Ramos is an all-star.
He can't play the outfield, Greg.
Well, maybe he doesn't need to. Maybe we'll put McRae out there and he'll be DH.
See, this is a problem with the Giants. Ramos can't play the outfield. But he can hit.
He wasn't.
But he can
he
hit.
wasn't in the
But
right spot.
like he said, he's an all-star. He can hit, right? But then he says, all right, then you just swap out. You put Mato or put McRae in. So McRae can play the outfield. He's got the wheels, Eric, but he can't hit. We don't have any athletes. We don't have any balance to our roster. We got guys a catcher who can't hit, but a great fielder, right? Great catcher. Then we got guys in the outfield who can't run. Then you got Yastrzemski. He can hit, not well.
What about
But he can play a mean right field. So we don't have, at the end of the day, we don't have a good team.
I think we got a good team. I don't think it's great.
That's fair. It's not great.
I think it's going to be exciting to have Jung-Hoo Lee for a whole season. I think Chapman and Adames on the left side is going to be really cool, something we haven't had in a long time. And once we get rid of Wade, Wilmer, and Yaz, that's going to bring in some more athletes for those guys too. You never know what's going to happen.
And that's fair. I mean, I could
go.
You just don't know until the games start. But yes, I think you hit it hit the nail on the head, skaters. As currently constructed, the Giants are mid. They're a 500 team. I 100% agree with that.
They're mid.
Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a bummer, right? Like 2014 was 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, my grandpa lived his whole life and never saw the Giants win once. I saw him win 3 times in 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
There's a lot of people that got jaded in the Bay Area because of the Warriors and Giants' success within those years.
True.
But reality is there's a lot of teams that never have even, like, look, the Cubs got there for the first time in history during our lifetime. Like, there's a lot of fans that have it
and
way
Red
worse
Sox
than us.
And Red Sox.
Yeah, and look at the White Sox and the Marlins and Tampa and these teams that are like just kind of selling their guys and not even trying. It's like, I'd rather be mid than doing that.
I got the box set, senior, of
me too,
of that postseason, the 2014 postseason.
I got all 3, 10, 12, 13, the 7 game sets, but they come in the thin little, I don't like that.
Yeah, the thin ones.
Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I'm already late for work, Eric.
Oh shit, yeah.
When are you coming back, Glenn?
Well, I'm doing work right now for Oldies 96. I'm gonna be back down. I'll give it a couple of weeks. I might be down. I'll pop up. Every time I knock on your door, you're never home.
Text me. I work. I have a job.
You were. Where were you? The fish market the last time I was there. Your wife. I brought you your Jung-Hoo Lee ticket from his home run game, and she's like, "Oh, Blake's not here."
Thank you. I'm stoked on that.
Oh, you like it?
I love it. That's my favorite. I've been collecting him like you collect Wilmer.
Yeah, you gonna get it signed, the ticket?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to FanFest Saturday to get Adames.
Right on.
Yeah.
Where's that one going to be? East Bay?
San Jose. I think it might be where the San Jose Giants play, maybe, or something. I'm not sure.
Right on.
Are you going to go to Sacramento or no way?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'll pass. Here we go. I hear the Dodgers are
All right.
Before you get going, I got to get out of here, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. It's been a long show for me at 2 hours, 15 minutes, and I got to get over to the radio side, man.
Gotcha, man. All right,
Have
Glenn.
a good night, Glenn.
Fun tonight. Good stuff.
Oh, good show tonight, boys. Dan was good. Eric, always a pleasure, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Woo! All right, Glenn. Have a good one, man.
Say hi to Charlotte for me.
Mother. Okay, real quick here, Dan. I hear the Dodgers aren't done yet. They're trying to make a trade with Boston for Ted Williams' frozen body parts. They believe he can win a batting title. And they have they have the med staff that can bring him back. There you go. Yes.
Hey, I like Dan. He's funny.
Dan's good. Dan's good, man. Awesome.
Did something happen to Dan? Because I saw in the comments people are like, "So sorry, Dan," or something like that.
Oh, he was telling his story about when his father had passed away when he was just 6 months old, or three months old. I can't remember.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. He was, and then he was talking about the story how he became a sports fan, and it was his brothers really got him into it.
Did he grow up in the Bay Area?
Yeah, Concord.
Oh, cool.
No.
And did you grow up out there too, Walnut?
I grew up in Tracy.
Tracy, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna get it ready to close it down. Hey, Greg, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Dilly, good to hear your voice. Toby, you too. And I think we're going to have Glenn on our show Thursday night, hopefully.
Right on. Hey, I'll check that out. I'm gonna check that one out.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Hey, you
Have
too,
a good
Greg.
night, everyone.
All right. Woo! All right, guys. Awesome. What you guys got, Dilly? Haven't heard you talking. I know you're kind of feeling under weather, so you're probably liking that little bit of a
I'm
little bit of a break.
conserving. I'm conserving.
There you go. Hey, let's kick this around a little bit. We always have to come back to this. Giants are done with the moves, right?
More than likely.
Okay. Toby?
I think so. I think everyone that's available has like a qualifying offer. I think except for Flaherty, and I don't think we want Flaherty.
Exactly. Now here, let's talk about that qualifying offer.
I think
Is-
Buster wants somewhat of a draft since he gave up that little bit for Adamas,
I
which
get
was
it.
worth it.
Tell me this, is it worth giving up some draft picks to get someone like Adamas or Bregman Alonso?
I don't know where you put Bregman in. I like the upside of Fitzgerald at second right now. We're not putting a 32-year-old at a new position he hasn't played in since college.
Okay.
Um,
Alonso? How about Alonso? Is he worth 2 draft picks?
no.
No. Okay.
His own team doesn't want him right now, so I don't think I'm going to give up 2 draft picks for him.
I heard a thing the other day from Rosenthal on one of the, I can't remember, Fair Territory, whatever the one that he likes to go on is. I heard that 90 million for 3 with an opt out every other year was actually not 90 million. It was like more close to like 60.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how much.
Wow.
Like I said, I don't know. I could be completely talking out of my butt right now, but that I saw a clip that was saying, yeah, it was like 60, around 60 million or whatever. Which to that point, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I understand why Alonso's not wanting to take that.
Right. That's
such
freaking nuts, man. You want to talk about?
Yeah, someone in the chat was just saying 68 to 70. So that's significantly lower AAV than I would feel like you'd be wanting to take on a short-term deal like that, which that makes so much more sense now. Like that, I understand, because the 90 for 3, I was like, you're an idiot for not taking that.
Wow.
But yeah, that makes more sense. And I don't
here's
know.
a question. Where do you think? Because I suppose I saw the news. I guess Detroit and Bregman were talking. It sounds like they've stalled.
Yeah.
Where do you think these 2 guys go? Where do you think Alonso or Bregman go?
That's a fantastic question. I think the thought has kind of crept into my head that it's going to be like a weird team, like a team that we're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I guess makes sense, but didn't see them at the table throwing down cash. It would make so much sense, and it would fit the biggest like gap in their roster for the Mariners to sign them to a short-term deal like that, and so they're not on the hook. But then if the Mariners did that, I feel like they would want to ship out Castillo first.
I see. To make up for some of the money.
The money, yeah. So
370. God, that's horrible, man.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. So,
damn.
I think that would make a lot of sense. That could be like an avenue.
I still got an idea that Alonso goes to Toronto and Vlad goes to the Mets in a trade.
Yeah, I said that like a month and a half ago too. I was like, it would make so much sense for them to just flip flop, because then Cohen can just like sweet talk him.
Yep.
But I don't think Toronto's gonna be. I think they got their.
Well, how would that look
guy.
though? If they just got Santander, would they still be up to trading Vlad?
No, they're not going to trade Vlad.
They're not going to trade. Maybe
if they'll move him to third before they trade him.
And maybe they maybe at a trade deadline if they're sucking it up, huh?
I don't even think they do that then.
You think they just lose them at the offseason?
I think they're just going to try and hold on to him as long as possible
Okay, that's fair.
and try and get the extension
Now-
done, which I don't know about that.
I've been seeing a lot, and I haven't seen it myself on Twitter. I don't know where you guys are reading it. Maybe I'm missing it. Red Sox and Bregman. There's been some talks on that. Have you guys heard
Early
anything
in the
on it?
off season, I thought that was a good. So I thought early in the off season, Tigers, Red Sox, obviously the Astros at some point, but when they picked up Christian Walker, I was like,
Mhm.
all right, well, there goes that. They're not getting Bregman back. So I thought maybe Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers made sense.
Okay.
Obviously
now
the
that the
Yankees
Goldschmidt.
did their thing. This is for Bregman, and then the Tigers, that makes sense. Although, like you said, they're kind of stalling out. And then the Red Sox, I thought for sure, like that makes a lot of sense. However, they did spend a lot of money this offseason. They've done a lot. And
Yeah.
they've traded a bunch and stuff. Not to say it couldn't happen. I just kind of felt like I've written the Red Sox off for being active for the rest of the offseason. Like I feel like they did what they were going to do and then they're good to go. But who knows? Especially since Bregman has explicitly said, I want the long-term deal. I want my this is it contract. That kind of throws a wrinkle into the equation.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox biggest issue is Devers going to DH, paying him that much, and then they have Yoshida, who can't play the outfield whatsoever, and all he couldn't do is hit. I think they want that contract off the books as soon as possible. I think the Tigers probably make the most sense for Bregman, just given the AJ Hinch connection. A young team that needs one of those guys. I know Glenn hates that veteran presence statement, but I think with a young team like that who just had that little taste of playoffs, get someone who's been in there, done that, and can kind of take them over that little hump that they're in right now.
Okay, that's interesting.
like
Now,
that.
what
I
about
like
these
that.
two guys that were talked about early in the offseason? The trading of Alex Bone, the trading of Nolan Arenado. What you think those guys get moved, or you think they're staying put?
No one wants to take that Arenado contract, and I think the Phillies see that there's no one on the market that probably is gonna make them better than what Bohm is right now. He wasn't a bad hitter. He just not great at the field.
Mm.
Yeah,
He's actually not a bad hitter at all.
I love his bat, and people crap on him so much, and I don't know why. I wonder if he's a sucky clubhouse guy or something like that. Like if he's a whiner. But
well, he did say I effing hate it here in Philadelphia. So remember that?
I don't bad.
But
blood.
who wouldn't say that? Philadelphia.
I know,
that's a good
man.
point. You're kind of set up to do that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I really do like his bat. He's just a contact. He's kind of like the third base version of Bichette in a lot of ways. Like just spray it over the field, all over the field. Not a whole lot of power. I think Bichette has more power, but
big doubles guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, guys, we'll see what's up. Yeah. Again, I'm not expecting anything from the Giants.
The Angels will get all three of them because the Angels don't care.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! Hey,
imagine
Dilly.
The Angels are going to be scary if they once the Rendon contract is gone and the Trout contract are gone, and they actually have money
7 years.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta
They'll be
wait.
scary in another decade.
We just gotta wait until
I
then.
think Trout's until 2030, so we got 5 years on that guy.
They'll waste what's that new Japanese kid coming up next year? They'll waste that kid's they'll waste his 6 years, and then maybe they'll be good again. Imagine having the two greatest players, Trout and Ohtani, and you didn't go to one playoff series. I'd be more pissed off at that than what we are in right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
You
All right,
did
guys.
not
I'm
build anything around them.
I'm sucking wind right now. Toby, Dilly, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. As always.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a good night.
Hey, you too.
You as well. Peace out.
See ya. All right, guys. I'm getting ready to close it down. Let's get the heck out of here. Guys, fun discussion today. everyone was well behaved. Thank you. I appreciate that. It didn't get sideways. I was a little bit concerned. I was like, man, this may get nuts. But hey, I think it was a fun conversation to have, talking about fandom in general, and then specifically San Francisco Giants fandom. So I think that was a lot of fun. Of course, talk some Giants baseball. But guys, appreciate you guys hanging out here on the Tuesday night. We'll be back at it again. Oh, you know what we didn't even get into? Maybe we'll get into it tomorrow. We didn't even get into the Hall of Fame stuff. Maybe we'll talk some Hall of Fame stuff. We had CC Sabathia, Ichiro Suzuki, and Billy Wagner. I like seeing Billy Wagner get elected to the Hall of Fame. There's a video going out of when he got the phone call. It's a tearjerker. It was great to see, man. See a grown man cry with that phone call telling him he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. That was pretty damn fantastic. And of course, the big news with Ichiro had the one vote. Yes, Jay, I see you, Jay Farrell. One vote away from it not being unanimous. Well, hey, Willie Mays didn't even get unanimous. Yeah, exactly, Dan. That was awesome. I really liked that because you could see him fighting back, and it was just awesome. Yeah. That was awesome to see. You could see how important it was for him. So, all right, guys. Hey, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Dan, thanks for hanging out tonight, man. You stuck around for like an hour and a half. Appreciate that, man. That was fun. Good conversation. It was a fun conversation. I enjoyed that. And then we'll be back at it. Again, we'll just do the Hall of Fame stuff tomorrow. That makes sense, to be honest with you, because unless there's some big news, but there ain't gonna be big. The only thing that's gonna be big news is probably Dodgers making another damn move, to be honest with you. You bet, Dan. Absolutely, man. It was good times. Who was the asset? Who was it? Has anyone been outed on who was the guy that didn't vote for Ichiro? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have fun out there. Behave, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.